Question. Bang the gavel first and you just start.
Thank you all.
Bang it. Okay. Notice to the public. If you wish to address the council, please complete the public wishing to address the council form located on either end of the counter and give it to either the chairman or the council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words and actions, and comments shall be limited to the issue and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. Thank you. All cell phones and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I'd like to call the Community Development and Planning Committee to order. Invocation will be by Mr. John Amade and the pledge by myself. Hold on. Gotcha.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for your wisdom and your guidance throughout this meeting, Lord, as we make decisions that affect the residents of our parish. Lord, we ask that your favor and blessings would be upon all the citizens of the good earth, Terrebonne Parish, Lord. And Lord, we do all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Charlie, can you call roll, please?
Here.
Oh, Miss Tammy. Hold up. Gotcha.
Mr. Voisin? Mr. Amity? Mr. Champagne?
Here.
Mr. Hamner? Mr. Babin? Ms. Chauvin?
Here.
Mr. Trosclair? Mr. Pleasure? Madam Chairwoman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you, Miss Tammy.
Low riders.
Okay. Number 1, resolution authorizing the parish president to enter into task order 1 between Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and Borwaka and Bonura Engineers and Consultants LLC to provide professional services for application development for the flood mitigation assistance and building resilient infrastructure and communities, BRIC programs. Moved by Mr. Babin. Seconded by Mr. Champagne. Mr. Carl Harding.
Yes, Ms. Candace. May 24th, we actually approved the process and everything like that. Can you give us a brief recap of that? Because I'm noticing that item number 1 and number 2 is probably associated with this particular company. So just recap in reference to payments to them and percentages or what avenue, just to bring us up to speed a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so BBC is a consultant that we procured to help us with preparation for our FMA, the flood mitigation assistance, and the BRIC program. So they will help us develop those applications. Those grant programs have recently opened up, and they're open for a period of 6 months or so. So they'll be helping us prepare those applications to submit for consideration. And the same for, as you mentioned, the next item, which is the Swift Current program. So they will be helping us prepare those applications as well. They don't get paid unless they get, we pay for their services to help with the applications, but that is a minimal cost. The real money that they make is when and if those applications are approved, then they'll make money on each application as it's submitted.
Right, and our backup there is a dollar amount here, you know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes we look at dollar amounts, we don't look at in percentages in reference to what they're actually doing. One could be $27,000, the other can be $23,000. So on what, $1 million or so that they can actually make 23.
I mean, we don't know the total amount because we're talking about FMA and brick programs, I mean, brick is tens of millions of dollars. I mean, some of their projects are very substantial. I think the last brick application that the parish submitted with Entergy was for 48 million. So, I mean, it could be a considerable amount of money.
Okay.
You done, Mr. Carl?
Yeah, just wondering, even the $48 million, they should get paid more than 23,000, I'm pretty sure.
Well, like I said,
Yeah.
that is a lump sum to help us prepare the applications, but they also get administrative fees based on the total amount of the grant that's awarded. So they get paid on that end as well.
Okay, then. Just want to bring us up to speed. We're good now.
Okay. Okay, seeing no more lights, vote your machines. You didn't vote? 7 yeas, resolution passes. You wasn't showing up. Tammy, Mr. Harding said he did vote. It didn't show up.
Still passes.
Okay, no problem. I'm just letting you know. Okay, number 2, resolution authorizing the parish president to enter into task order 2 between Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and Barwoka and Barona Engineers and Consultants LLC to provide professional services for implementation of the 2022 flood mitigation assistance swift current projects. Moved by Mr. Babin, second by Mr. Harding. Seeing no lights, please vote your machines. Oh, you had a light? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Carl.
Discombobulated because, so this is my point that I had previously. So we're looking at 100% reimbursement, and we have the elevation of one house. And what this particular company is going to get for that particular project, if I'm correct, would be, I think, $27,000.
This one is
Hold on.
This one, or the
Pressure-
next one is
pressure light.
27.
Go ahead,
Right.
Chris.
But still, that's the elevation of one house, and they're actually gonna get $23,000 in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if it's one house or two in this Swift Current program, but when you figure 10% is usual fee for engineering for these types of projects. I mean, 230,000 to elevate a home or reconstruction of a home that's elevated with fortified gold standard. That's what we're paying.
Yeah, and I'm good with that, man. It's just that, man, basically it amounts to a set price, man, that I'm looking at. Because usually when I actually look at those figures like that, we want to be assured that it's not such a variation in our cost, and just like they get paid on the other end for something, I'm looking at, man, we're hiring consultants and it's costing X amount of dollars. Even though I know that we may get $48 million, we're still looking at our cost saving measures as we see going into our budgetary period for next year. And we have certain cuts to be made. And we just want to make sure that we are being efficient and effective in our operation. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Wazan?
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Quick question. Is what they're providing as far as engineering services, is it something that's maybe beyond the realm of people local, that engineering firms, or was it bidded out? I mean, why are we using a company out of Metairie rather than Homa or even Lafourche?
We put RFPs out for these, and it's a requirement, that we have to go through the federal procurement process. So, we go through this, and they're selected amongst all those who respond. Now, sometimes these the firms will use local engineers or local services as subcontractors on some of these projects, but BBC is a consultant firm that we've worked with in the past, and we haven't had any issues with them.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no more lights, please vote your machines. Eight yeas, resolution passes. Okay. Number 3, resolution authorizing the parish president to sign task order 3 with Baroka and Verona Engineering and Consultants LLC for project, grant, and construction management for the 4577-20 Criminal Justice Complex Generator Project. Moved by Mr. Babin. Second by Mr. Shompine. Seeing no lights, vote your machines, please. Eight yeas, resolution passes. Number 4, authorizing the parish president to accept the grant funding for the Criminal Justice Complex Generator Project from the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. Moved by Mr. Babin. Second by Mr. Wazan. Seeing no lights, please vote your machines. No, that was 4. 8 yeas, resolution passes. On to number 5. This is 5. Do I have to call them after? Before we vote? Okay. Resolution loaning housing program income funds and committing project-based vouchers to West Tunnel Lofts LLC in an amount not to exceed $1 million for the construction of an affordable multifamily housing development at 1368 West Tunnel Boulevard, Houma, Louisiana. Moved by Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Trosclair. Question, Mr. Pledger?
I just have a question in regards to that address. So that's going to be right on the road in between South Louisiana Bank and I think it's AutoZone, 1368.
So do we want to call him that?
And I was just curious about that. I'm sorry.
Kelly Varnado, Terrebonne Parish Housing and Human Services Department Director. Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Carl Harding?
Yes, I was going to call Ms. Bernardo up in reference to explain that because there are certain variations of that. And could you give us a little explanation because we've been looking for housing and I think it's 40 units we're talking about here?
Yes, sir, and I actually have a representative of HRI, the developer here, and I can bring him up.
Yeah, and we had you can come up, and we had an agreement really basically that actually afforded us an opportunity to have a relationship with your company, and then now we are expanding, and we just want to know that the funding is coming in, and it's several partnerships, and I think Ms. Bernardo actually so busy. Used to call it Miss Cunningham.
It's okay.
Yeah, has done so much. Could you tell us what you have done and how this came about, sir?
Sure. Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Josh Cowan, president of HRI Communities. We've been working in Houma since the mid-90s with the Bonne Terre and Barataria Station communities. And this is our latest investment. There's 40 apartments that we've received the tax credits from the Louisiana Housing Corporation for, as well as a second mortgage loan for community development block grant funds from the Louisiana Housing Corporation in a very competitive process, which is their prime program, which requires us to build to the fortified multifamily gold and enterprise green community sustainability standards. This is a 3-story apartment community right there next to South Louisiana Bank.
And we had some private funding to go along with it too.
Correct. Yeah, the first mortgage loan, we're working with a group called Legacy Bank as the lender, and US Bank is our tax credit investor. And yeah, everything is teed up to close and begin construction next month.
I thank you very much, and I'm pretty sure District 3 will be happy to have some residents, new residents. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. I appreciate you answering all my questions that I had throughout the weekend.
You're very
So I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no more lights, please vote your machine. Eight yeas, motion passes. Number 6, motion to rescind the condemnation order adopted October 24th, 2023 on the residential structure located at 1743 Highway 55, owned by Harry J. Dugas, care of Carl Ellender, Ronnie Wayne Duke, Susan Learette Massey, Gary Learette, Michael Learette, Cynthia Cunningham, Michael David Cunningham Jr., Scott Matthew Cunningham, Holly Faye Cunningham Boudreau, Jacqueline Jackie Learette, Michael P. Learette, Melissa Learette Nugent, Marie Learette, Judith M. Learette. Moved by Mr. Trosclair, seconded by Mr. Harding. Seeing no lights, vote your machines, please. Eight yeas, motion passes. Number 7, motion to rescind the condemnation order adopted October 24th, 2023 on the residential structure located at 308 Richard Drive, owned by Ralph J. Learette Jr. and Nellie Garcia Learette. Moved by Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Champagne. Seeing no lights, vote your machines, please. 8 yeas, motion passes. That's number 7. Number 8, motion to rescind the condemnation order adopted April 24th, 2023 on the residential structure located at 7391 Park Avenue, owned by FIIDK LLC. Moved by Mr. Harding, second by Mr. Pledger. Seeing no lights, vote your machines, please. 8 yeas, motion passes. 9, motion to rescind the condemnation order adopted April 24th, 2023 on the residential structure located at 7397 Park Avenue, owned by FIIDK LLC. Moved by Mr. Harding, second by Mr. Trosclair. Seeing no lights, vote your machines. 8 yeas, motion passes. 10, motion to rescind the condemnation order April 24th, 2023 on the residential structure located at 7395 Park Avenue, owned by FIIDK LLC. Moved by Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Wazan. That's what you get. Seeing no lights, vote your machines, please. Sorry. Eight yeas, motion passes. 11, consider the introduction of an ordinance authorizing the parish president to execute a lease agreement with Grace Lutheran Church for Head Start classroom space and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Moved by Mr. Champagne, seconded by Mr. Amadei. Seeing no lights, vote your machines. Motion to adjourn. Seeing the lights, vote your machines. Amadei. Harding. Oh, it was Amadei and Harding to adjourn. I'm out.
All right. All right, notice to the public, if you wish to address the council, please complete the public wishing to address the council form located on either end of the counter and give it to either the chairman or the council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words and actions, and comments shall be limited to the issues and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. Thank you. All cell phones and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I'd like to call the meeting of the Terrebonne Parish Council Public Service Committee to order. We'll have an invocation by Mr. Champagne and a pledge.
Right? Heavenly Father, as we gather here today as stewards of this parish, grant us the guidance and clarity to work with integrity and compassion. May our decisions be just, considerate, and in the best interest of all our community members. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. Ms. Chorley, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Harding, Mr. Voisin, Mr. Amity, Mr. Champagne, Mr. Hamner, Mr. Babin,
Here.
Ms. Chauvin, Mr. Trustclair, Mr. Pledger. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you, Ms. Chorley. Item 1, resolution ensuring full compliance with the off-system bridge program required by national bridge inspection standards. Moved by Mr. Harding, second by Ms. Chauvin. Before we vote, we have 84 bridges in this parish, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to keep the inspection on. So seeing no lights, vote your machines, please. Everyone voted? 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes. Item 2, resolution authorizing the purchase of mitigation credits from RES Resource Environmental Solutions, LLC, to purchasing 2.1 acres of fresh marsh for the Dularge West D18 pump station replacement. Terrebonne Drainage Project identified as project number 20-DRA-03 and authorizing the signing of necessary agreements for this mitigation as required by the United States Corps of Engineers. Moved by Ms. Chauvin, second by Mr. Harding. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you very much. This is a project in Council District 7. Item number 3, considering the introduction of an ordinance to appoint Arashur LLC insurer to serve as agent of record for Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government Property, Inland Marine, and Flood Insurance Coverage, March 1st, 2025, effective through February 28th, 2026, and to exercise the option to renew insurer's contract and calling a public hearing on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Moved by Mr. Amade, second by Ms. Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. 8 yeas and 0 nays. Motion passes. By the way, this is Larice Insurance. Item number 4, consider the introduction of an ordinance to appoint Acrisure LLC insurer to serve as agent of record for Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government's casualty insurance coverage commencing April 1st, 2024, effective through March 31st, 2026, and to exercise the option to renew insurer's contract, authorizing a change to agreement which will facilitate a more efficient method to renew for the second option term, and call a public hearing on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Moved by Mr. Amade, second by Ms. Chauvin. Mr. Harding.
Yeah, for correction, it's commencing April 1st, 2025.
Did I say 24? Thank you.
24.
Yeah.
So
It's April 1st, 2025. Thank you for that, sir. Effective through March 31st, 2026. Seeing no other lights, members vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes. That's also Larice. Item number 5, consider the introduction of an ordinance to appoint the Lede Corporation doing business as Lede Insurance Insurer to serve as agent of record for Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government's comprehensive fireman's insurance coverage and boiler and machinery coverage, commencing on those dates described herein, to exercise the option to renew insurer's contract, to eliminate the requirement under ordinance number 9524 to sign a new contract in order to exercise the option terms under this agreement, and call a public hearing on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Moved by Mr. Amade or Mr. Trosclair, second by Mr. Amade. Seeing no lights. Members, vote your machines. Eight yeas, 0 nays. Motion passes. Item number 6, consider the introduction of an ordinance to amend section 18-87 under chapter 18 of the Terrebonne Parish Code of Ordinances to designate the intersection of Ellendale Drive and Ordorn Drive in Houma, Louisiana, a 4-way stop intersection, and to authorize the placement of appropriate signs and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Moved by Mr. Harding. Second by Mr. Champagne. Seeing no lights, members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, 0 nays, motion passed. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Harding, second by Ms. Chauvin. Members, vote your machines. Tammy? It's not you. 7 yeas, 0 nays, motion passes. Motion adjourned. Committee meeting adjourned.
All right, notice to the public, if you wish to address the council, please complete the public wishing to address the council form located on either end of the counter and give it either to the chairman or to the council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words and actions, and comments shall be limited to the issue and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. Thank you. All cell phones and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. Call the meeting to order. We will have an invocation by Mr. Brian Pledger and Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you give us guidance, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding where we may be able to make the decisions for the people of Terrebonne Parish. Furthermore, we ask that you bless this great nation, bless this state, and bless this parish of Terrebonne. These and many other blessings we ask in your darling Son Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep.
I forgot to read this. So
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Roll call. Ms. Charles?
Mr. Harding, Mr. Voisin, Mr. Amity, Mr. Champagne,
Here.
Mr. Hamner, Mr. Babin, Ms. Chauvin, Mr. Trosclair, Mr. Pledger. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you. Real quick, I do have a letter from Mr. Clyde Hamner. He's normally the chair of this committee. Please be advised I will be unable to attend the upcoming committee meetings and special session condemnations hearings tomorrow. I have reviewed the agenda and have made known my concerns. I apologize for any inconvenience my absence may cause. Thank you. And it's signed, Clyde Hamner, went to the council members, clerk, and for the reading file. All right. Item number 1, approve the co-sponsorship request for the annual United States Bowling Congress Bayou Region Awards Banquet to be held on December 20th, 2024 from 4 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. at the Houma Municipal Auditorium. Moved by Mr. Trosclair, seconded by Mr. Babin. No lights. Please vote your machine. Eight yeas. Motion passes. Item number 2, approve the co-sponsorship request from the Rotary Club of Homa for the cast iron cook-off to be held March 15th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. at the Courthouse Square. Moved by Mr. Babin, second by Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machine. Eight yeas. Motion passes. Item number 3, resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an application form to the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement and the Administration of Criminal Justice 2023 Crime Victim Assistance Grant for the Homeland Police Department of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and to address other matters relative thereto. Moved by Mr. Danny Babin, second by Ms. Kim Chauvin. No lights. Go ahead and vote your machines. Eight yeas, motion passes. All right, item number 4, resolution accepting the recommendation of the administration and the Risk Management Department to continue the third-party administrator contract with Gulf South Risk Services to handle the workman's compensation claims from November 1st, 2024 through October 31st, 2025. Moved by Ms. Kim Chauvin, second by Mr. Danny Babin. No lights, members vote your machines. Eight yeas, motion passes. Item number 5, resolution accepting the recommendation of Administration and Risk Management Department to continue the contract with Sigma Consulting Corporation. Moved by Mr. Danny Babin, second by Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, vote your machines. Anybody left? Not showing up? Oh. 7 yeas, 1 abstain. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn by Ms. Kim Chauvin and second by Mr. Brian Pledger. Members, vote your machines. 8 yeas, motion passes.
Notice to the public, if you wish to address the council, please complete the public wishing to address the council forms located on either end of the counter and give it to either the chairman or the council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words and actions, and comments shall be limited to the issues and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. All cell phones and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I'd like to call the meeting of the Terrebonne Parish Budget and Finance Committee to order. We'll have an invocation in place by Mr. Carl Harding.
Heavenly Father, as I come tonight, oh God, I come recognizing you as God and God all by yourself. I know that you are the shepherd that guided me in the right path, oh God. And I know that your grace and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and that I would dwell in your holy kingdom. But most importantly tonight, oh God, we ask that the wisdom and knowledge and understanding come from on high, oh God, that the spirit of unity and the benevolence from this committee, this council meeting, oh God, that goes out and protect those that's not able to feed and provide for themselves and have all the nurturing and everything that's provided through the services of each other here, oh God. And having that understanding, oh God, we ask you to bless us in your darling son Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, I think I just quit saying amen on the pledge part.
Thank you. Ms. Charlie, may I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Harding, Mr. Voisin, Mr. Amity, Mr. Champagne, Mr. Hamner, Mr. Babin, Ms. Chauvin, Mr. Trustclair, Mr. Pledger.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you. Item number 1, motion to dissolve the Broadmoor Tree Committee. Move Mr. Clayton Wazan. Second, Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Vote 7-0, motion passes. Item number 2, resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an application form to the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, 2024 Edward Bryan Memorial JAG Grant for the Houma Police Department of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, and to address other matters related thereto. Move Mr. Danny Babin, second Mr. Kevin Champagne. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 3, resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an application form to the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement and the Administration of Criminal Justice Fiscal Year 2023 Victim of Crime Act Victims Assistance VOCA grant for the Houma Police Department of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and to address other matters related thereto. Moved by Ms. Kim Chauvin, second by Mr. Kevin Champagne. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 4, authorizing the parish president to execute an application form to the Louisiana Commission of Law Enforcement and the Administration of Criminal Justice Fiscal Year 2022 BJAG Task Force Grant for the Houma Police Department of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and to address other matters relative thereto. Move Ms. Kim Chauvin. Second, Mr. Kevin Champagne. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Vote 7-0, motion passes. Item number 5, authorizing the parish president to execute an application form to the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement and the Administration of Criminal Justice 2023 Crime Victim Assistance Grant for the Houma Police Department of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and to address other matters relative thereto. Move Mr. Danny Babin, second Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 7, resolution authorizing the parish president to execute an agreement for the professional HVAC consulting services and the Terrebonne Parish Animal Shelter between Matrix HVAC LLC and the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Item number 6, authorizing the parish president to execute an application form to the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission, LHSC, for the federal fiscal year 2025 LHSC grant for the Houma Police Department of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and to address other matters relative thereto. Move Mr. Danny Babin, second Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Votes 7-0, motion passes. Item number 7, authorizing the parish president to execute an agreement for the professional HVAC consulting services at the Terrebonne Parish Animal Shelter between Matrix HVAC LLC and the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. Move Mr. Danny Babin, second Mr. John Amity. Ms. Kim Chauvin?
Just a question, I'm just noticing that they're from St. Tammany Parish. Did we not have any HVAC people apply like from Terrebonne?
I believe, Ms. Chauvin, that they were the only ones that were qualified based on the HVAC system that we have at the animal shelter, but we can follow up and get you that information.
Just wondering, is it like a complicated system?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I didn't realize we needed that for dogs and cats.
We tried to get them to go with something simpler, but Michelle Flood didn't want.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Seeing no further discussion, members vote your machines. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 8, concurring with the parish administration to reject the proposals received for the request for proposals, RFP number 24-REFUSE-27, large refuse container and community recycling service, and receive authorization to re-advertise as soon as allowable. Move Mr. Daniel Bappen, second Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. Hello. I did. Sorry. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 9, rejecting all proposals submitted in response to TPCG's request for proposals for employee benefits producer of record for year 2025. Move Mr. Daniel Babbin, second Ms. Kim Chauvin. Mr. Steve Trosclair.
Yes, thank you. Is there any reason we don't have in our backups, the responses to the RFPs? I mean, I maybe it's just fine, I don't have anything from any company that we're rejecting. Well, whoever submitted applications to the RFP, they're not in the backup. So I mean, all we have is, I mean, I don't have a problem rejecting it, but I was just wondering who had submitted responses to the RFPs.
Yes, thank you. This is an email that I had sent in to the council, and so all of it was the same email that I sent in for this resolution and for the ordinance to approve the appointment for the employee benefits producer. And there was a link to download all of the RFPs in that email that was sent to the council. And I thought it was going to be put up, or I gave you the option to put it up on the backup, but I guess it didn't make it on the backup.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's not a big deal.
If you can't find it, let me know and I'll
Yeah.
resend it to
I
you.
probably didn't see the link, but go ahead,
Yeah.
it'll be good. Thanks.
Seeing no further lights, members vote your machines. Yeah. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 10, consider the introduction of an ordinance to amend the 2024 adopted operating budget and the 5-year capital outlay budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Item number 1, 5% budget adjustment for criminal court fund, $0. Item number 2, 5% budget adjustment for road district number 1, $79,034. Item number 3, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 2, $23,715. Item number 4, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 3, $5,041. Item number 5, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 4, $19,664. Item number 6, 5% budget adjustment for road district number 5, $20,619. Item number 7, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 6, $31,144. Item number 8, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 7, $37,549. Item number 9, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 8, $7,780. Item number 10, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 9, $12,409. Item number 11, 5% budget adjustment for road lighting district number 10, $1,967. Item number 12, 5% budget adjustment for juvenile detention, $76,691. Item number 13, criminal justice complex generator, $1,026,756. Item number 14, company canal miter gate, $500,000. And calling a public hearing on said matter on November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Move Mr. Kevin Champagne. Second, Mr. Danny Babin. Seeing no lights, Ms. Kim Chauvin.
Ms. Candace, can you give an overview of what this means?
Thank you. You're seeing a lot of percentages and numbers there. It's getting close to the end of the year. So, and also because budget amendments have to lay over for 2 weeks, we're starting to do our year-end stuff because we're gonna have meetings back to back. The 5% budget adjustments you see, we have a state law requirement that our budgets, our final budgets compared to our actual amounts cannot be 5% or more of an unfavorable variance. So we can't have less than revenues and more expenditures by more than 5% by state law. So these are us adjusting these. So we're either taking it from their fund balance or they have received more revenue during the year and we're recognizing the revenue to cover those additional expenses. So you'll see these 5% budget adjustments this week and you'll probably see a few more for some other funds until we get to the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Candace. Mr. Harding?
Yes, number 5, and that's $19,664 to.
The savings for that one.
Right,
That one is a
right.
savings, yes, sir.
That one is a savings, and also the criminal justice complex generator, with the 1,026,756. Is that associated with something that we spoke about earlier in reference to us getting 100% in reimbursement and 90% reimbursement, and 10% of that, we actually save $51,000 to something else? Is that associated with that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember us talking about that. This is a grant that we have received through, I believe, HMGP and or FEMA. We have been working with them to get this approved. So this is for us to put a permanent generator at the current jail, with a 10%, because it was 100,000, a 10% match on our part. So this is recognizing the revenue coming in as well as the match.
Right, so that's the 10%, and I think, well, I'm gonna have to get with you because I think I read something, and then we will have another credit of $51,000, which was half of the 10%. The one.
There in the backup, there is this global match of 51,000 that you don't always have to use. So we recognize the full 100,000 of our match.
Mhm.
And if they come back and only make us come up with the 50,000, we'll credit it and get the savings.
Okay, that's where I'm at.
But we go ahead and
Yeah.
put the whole possible match into the budget, just so we don't have to come back to you later and say, hey, we didn't get that 50,000, let's go ahead.
And just show a credit later on.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Candace. No further lights. Members, vote your machines. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 11, consider the introduction of an ordinance to appoint Anthony J. Alford Insurance Corporation, insurer, to serve as agent of record for employee life, disability, and other benefits for the year 2025, and to exercise the option to renew insurer's contract, authorizing a change to the agreement which will facilitate a more efficient method to renew for the second option term, and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Move Mr. Steve Trosclair, second Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members, vote your machines. Votes 8-0, motion passes. Item number 12, consider the introduction of an ordinance to adopt Anthony J. Alford Insurance Corporation, insurer, to serve as agent of record for employee group health, benefits for medical, dental, and pharmacy for the year 2025, to exercise the option to renew insurance contract and to authorize the parish president and designee to enter into an amendment of that contract for the purposes of reducing the insurer's pre-insured broker fee, and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. Move Mr. Danny Babin, second Ms. Kim Chauvin. Seeing no lights, members vote your machines. The vote's 8-0, motion passes. Item number 13, to review the 2025 proposed budget for the following departments/agencies. Number one will be the parish council, and I would like to advise all of our board members or council members to will follow Ms. Candace's lead here in breaking out your proposed budget books. Also, the detailed budget supplement books that we have that they provided for us.
Thank you, Mr. Pledger. So just for those of you that this is your first time going through the budget, we should have added something else to the agenda, so this wouldn't be lucky number 13, but I didn't know that was going to work out that way. So we are a week behind in submitting the budget because of Hurricane Francine, so we are going to have a lot more budget hearings at the next 3 meetings than we usually do. So bear with us, we'll go through that. So the next 3 committee meetings will have budget hearings where we will go over the budget highlights for each department within the budget book. You will have the opportunity to suggest any changes that you would like to see or anything that needs to be added or deleted from the budget. So the first Monday committee meeting, we will bring those proposed changes to the council for vote. And the first Wednesday council meeting in December, the 2025 budget will actually be adopted and be effective January 1st, 2025. So we are going to focus on what we refer to as the pretty book. So it's the one with the picture on the front. And we're just going to hit the budget highlights. So this is going to be pretty quick, very high level. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to have questions or meet on this outside of the meeting, I'll be glad to do that. So we are going to start with Parish Council. We're going to actually look at the budget highlights on page 60. So we have the ordinance number 8257, which is from January 2013. This established the salaries for the council members and council chair. Council members, it's 1,422, and council chair is 1,600. Going over to the council clerk, which is going to be on page 62, we actually had no significant changes in the budget highlights. The official fees and publications, this is going to be on page 64. We have multiple membership dues for the year 2025. You have the Louisiana Municipal Association for $12,487. The Metropolitan Law Enforcement Commission for $3,545. NACO is $2,237. Police Jury Association is $12,000. Parishes Advocating for Coastal Endurance is $10,000. Parish Presidents of Louisiana is $10,000. Independent audit fees, $280,000, and your published proceedings is $28,000. City Court is going to be on the next page, page 65, and there is no significant changes. District Court on page 67 is also no significant changes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I do have a speaker card here for Judge David Arsenault, Ellen, not Dosky. Guys, come on up.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Judge David Arsenault, one of the 5 district court judges of the 32nd Judicial District Court. And with me is Miss Ellen Dosky, who is affiliated with our Family Preservation Court. And I'm here tonight to make myself available to answer any questions you might have about some plans that we have that we need help with from the parish council. There is a fund from the state of Louisiana. It's generally referred to as the opioid settlement money or settlement fund. And each year, the state makes those funds available to the parishes across the state. And in Terrebonne Parish, for example, currently in this year 4 of this opiate settlement fund plan, there appears to be approximately $550,000 available from the state that is to be distributed. And under the formula that the state has approved, 20% of that goes to the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff. And it's to be used for whatever purpose the sheriff thinks is relevant to the purposes of the opioid settlement fund. The balance of that money, about 80%, which is about $440,000, is given to the Terrebonne Parish Council to distribute as it sees fit for the purposes for which that money is supposed to be used. In the first 3 years, the Parish Council gave all of that money, about $1.1 million, to the Houma Police Department for it to use as it sees fit in compliance with the purposes for which the opioid settlement money is to be used. The Houma Police Department is a law enforcement agency, just like the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, and that means that all of the opioid money has gone to law enforcement for whatever purposes they deem fit. I am the presiding judge of the Family Preservation Court in Terrebonne Parish, and just so you'll know, there are about 8 of those courts in the state. I don't get paid extra to preside over that Family Preservation Court, and in a nutshell, I'll tell you what its purpose is. It is designed to assist people with substance use disorders who have children in state's custody. If, for example, a mother and or a father have a child that's taken into custody by the state because of substance use problems, then those parents are eligible to participate in our Family Preservation Court. And it is a high-intensity program designed to treat those people so that they can be reunited with their children sooner rather than later. At this moment, we have about 20 people in our Family Preservation Court, and we're serving probably about 50 children who are in state's custody in one form or another, who are depending on these parents. So we have this program established in an attempt to aid these people, to treat these people, get them on the right path, solve their problems so that they never come back with children in state's custody. And we think we've been very successful in that program. There are about 8 of those in the state, as I told you, and they're all set up by the Louisiana Supreme Court. The Louisiana Supreme Court pays us a designated amount of money. I think it's $8,000 per year per person who participates in the program, and it is strictly a voluntary program. We are not like a drug court. In a drug court, people are accused of crimes. They plead guilty to the crimes. They have a sentence hanging over their head, and they're treated for their substance use disorder with this threat of incarceration if they don't comply. We don't do that. Nothing about the Family Preservation Court is punitive. We are not there to punish people if they don't comply. It's a voluntary program. I meet with all of the participants twice a month. They are drug tested 3 times a week. They are required to submit to treatment. We monitor them and assist them and do everything we can to reunite them with their children as soon as it is possible, considering the safety of those children. The Supreme Court funds us for 20 slots, and we've been in existence now for about 3.5 years, and the Supreme Court has steadily increased our allotment to where we are now serving 20 people. We actually have more than 20 people in the program, but the Supreme Court doesn't pay us for that because our limit is 20 people. But it's very difficult not to take someone in who is looking for help, who has a child in state's custody. So we take on more people when we can. But the money that the Supreme Court gives us, it is primarily spent on the personnel that we have to administer the program. We use some of it for drug testing, some of it for training, some of it for treatment. But we have a much higher demand than the Supreme Court is allowing. In addition, we have expenses the Supreme Court will not allow us to pay. For example, if we have participants who have transportation problems, participants who want to further their education so they can get a GED, something as simple as a driving course so they can get a driver's license so they can drive to their drug testing and their treatment and the employment that we try to get them to engage in. There are lots of things we can't pay for, and it's making things very difficult for us in trying to help these people. This opioid money is designed to assist people with substance use disorders. So I am here to ask the parish council to award some of that money to the Family Preservation Court so that we can use it for the purposes that the opioid abatement program is designed to do. And have we furnished them with we have a packet of information for each of you, and I invite you to look it over. It'll verify the things that I'm telling you, and it may explain in more detail the things that I'm trying to make sure that you understand. But this is a very unique program, and I will venture to say we have probably one of the most successful family preservation court programs in the state of Louisiana. We have pulled together resources here that they don't have in other parishes. We have a board-certified addictionologist in Dr. Williams at Javert Medical Center who works with our program. Javert, it's actually Oshner that runs it, but they send a representative to every one of our meetings to help us evaluate these people, monitor their progress. We've pulled together providers, CASA, who looks out for the children, the lawyers for the people who are in Family Preservation Court, the district attorney's office. We meet every 2 weeks with about 15 people, and we discuss every one of these cases. We monitor them intensely. And that's our goal, is to help these people more. But we need more money. We can't do the job that we could be doing without extra funds. And this source of funds was obviously intended, tailor-made, tailor-designed for the work that we do in the Family Preservation Court. And we would like to see more of that money come to us rather than to law enforcement, to be very frank with you. And I'm here to answer any questions any of you might want to ask me.
Do have a few lights there, Judge.
Good.
Mr. Kevin Champagne.
Yeah, I just want to, let the rest of the council know that I fully support this program. I met with Judge Arsenault and Ellen and Valerie, with Kim, and I've sat on, besides the good work they do within their program, I've sat on committees, behavioral health summit things, and they're very, proactive in ensuring that their clients get good care, and that they're educating even the providers on evidence-based models and things that their clients need to get good care. So I'm in full support of anything that we can do to help support that program. That's all I want to say.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Champagne. Mr. Steve Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Judge, back to 1973, David. Okay.
That's okay.
We graduated together.
That's okay, Steve.
But no, the clients that come into this family drug court deal, are they mostly referrals by somebody or just walk-ins? How do they get there?
We actually have a strategy for intervening with these people as soon as possible. In a typical situation, I'll tell you what happens. The judge who's on duty gets a phone call from DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services. Judge, we've got a situation. We have to remove these children from these parents. We need an order from you. And the judge gives a verbal order based on what he's told about what's going on. Within 72 hours after that child is removed, There has to be a court hearing conducted where the parents come, DCFS comes, the DA's office comes, so that the judge can verify that what he was told was correct and that continued intervention by the state in these children's lives is necessary. If the judge decides that that's the case and the children have to remain in state's custody, the parents are scheduled for a hearing later where we have an even greater hearing with more evidence to determine what should we do. Do these children really need to remain in state's custody? Is there family that can take these children? What are we going to do about these children? All with a goal toward trying to keep the children out of state's custody. But unfortunately, I think a lot of you would be surprised at the circumstances people live in. And I might add, the Family Preservation Court does not deal with parents who are poor. It does not deal with parents who have mental issues. It does not deal with parents who are in jail. We only deal with parents who have a substance use problem, parents who are addicts, who voluntarily agree to come into our program. The carrot on this stick is the kids. It is not a jail sentence. It's not punishment. It's positive. It's reinforcement. It's help. And these people, as you can imagine, frequently fall off the wagon. We don't throw them out. We pick them up and we start over with them. And we're very proud of the success that we've had. Oh, and in fact, I kind of wish I had brought some of these people to see you, because I'll tell you, I am one of those people who 3.5 years ago thought, well, this is a choice. This is their problem. They'll just have to live with the consequences. Of course, you've got children involved. It's not their choice. I don't feel that way anymore. I wish I could reveal to you, I wish you could see the character of what the drug use masks. Wonderful people, outstanding people, people that I'm honored to have come to know once you get past the addiction problem. It's eye-opening, and it's an epidemic. And this money is designed to help us address it. And we think that we're doing a great job, and we'd like to do it for more people, and we'd like to do a better job with the people that we do help. And so anyway, that's why we're here. But to answer your question, the most common way that a child comes into custody is this. That call comes from DCFS because they're at the hospital, and a child was just born drug affected. They've tested it, the child's hooked on drugs, and the mama's there, and the mama's not going to take that baby home because she's a heroin addict. And that's how a lot of the children come into custody. They're what we call drug-affected newborns. And so we intervene ASAP. And lots of times that mother, with the cooperation, and I have to tell you, the cooperation of Terrebonne General, that mother will probably go to detox at Ochsner almost immediately because of the people that we bring together to counsel her, to advise her. And I might also add, in our program now, I think we have 5 couples, mother and father. So when I say we have 20 people, I'd venture to say 10 of them are mothers and fathers. In other words, the same children.
Right.
But we actually have more than 20. We maintain a little more than 20, but Supreme Court's not paying us for that. We just do it because we can't say no.
And my second question.
And we have a waiting list. We have more people that want to get
And
in. We can't handle it.
What, I mean, you keep saying you're having really good success with it. Can you put a percentage number? What kind of success rate you have with it?
Well, we've been doing this 3.5 years. Took about 6 months, I guess, to get the population up. Unfortunately, under federal law, children are supposed to be finalized, if you will, for lack of a better word, within 1 year of the time that the child is taken into custody. The science does not follow the law. It takes longer than that to take someone who's an addict and get them in a position where we can just turn the children over to them without any questions asked. So a lot of the people that we have, I don't think we have any of the original people that we have, and I want to say we've graduated maybe 8? Is it more than that? 15. We've graduated 15 people in 3.5 years. Now, that's just the people that have graduated. That's not the people who have come into the program and for whatever reason didn't finish, but who still have their addiction issues under control. So we like to say that it doesn't matter what the result is. We help every one of them. Some of the people have come back more than once. They've come in, they've not succeeded. DCFS perhaps lets them have the child back because the standards for DCFS to return a child, for example, I'll give you an example. We drug test 3 times a week. DCFS doesn't come anywhere near that. Our tests are random, unannounced. They're sprung on them. DCFS, they have more warning. So lots of times people can get through the DCFS program by taking that path of least resistance. But fortunately for us, the people who are in our programs want to be in the program. They are there on purpose, not because somebody has forced them to do it. They know that they could take the path of least resistance and go through the DCFS without the Parent Preservation Court scrutiny. Those people who choose to come generally stay with us. They finish the program. Even if they don't, they still get the benefits of the program. So I hope that answers you.
That does, and thank you, Judge, for everything you're doing. This is a great program, and I totally support you on this.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Trosclair. Mr. Harding.
Well, Judge, I hear what you said, but let me tell you what I'm thinking.
All right.
Okay. I think I was in a conversation earlier today that oftentimes we come in and more programs out there to assist the Houma Police Department. They got grants after grants after grants on top of grants. For those people that are out there that perhaps still feel as if they feel, you felt, okay, in reference to that's a condition that they actually put on themselves. Drug addiction is an illness, and we have to not treat the drug addiction as something taboo, because it's no worse than someone taking $1,000 and going to put it in a video poker machine. That's an addiction.
There are lots of addictions.
There are a number of addictions that we have out there. So what I'm hearing, I heard $400 and some thousand. I have a number, 444. You're talking about 160 for the 20 people, and you got that covered here.
Let me say, it's not the 20 people we have. This is so that we can bring in more people.
Okay. Then.
We're at capacity. We would have to hire additional personnel in order to service more than the people that we have now. We have people who want to get in. We just can't handle it anymore. I might tell you, incidentally, by the way, none of that money comes to me. I get paid as a judge to do what I do, just like Judge Pickett gets paid to do what he does. And I've taken on Family Preservation Court voluntarily at no extra compensation. He does the same thing with drug court at no additional compensation. So none of this money comes to me. This is to hire personnel who can handle the caseload. This poor lady over here, Miss Cooper, who's our program coordinator, she gets calls at 2:00 in the morning from people who need her assistance, need her guidance, need her help. What can I do? What should I do, et cetera. She could not do this if we have 40 people in the program. And so the money is designed to bring more people in so that we can help them, and at the same time help us with things that we don't have money to do, like transportation issues, housing issues even. When you have someone who's reached a point in his or her life that they've lost a child to state's custody, you're generally talking about somebody who doesn't have a car, doesn't have a job, has no idea how they're going to eat, where they're going to sleep. It's horrible. And as you can imagine, all of those things create stressors which make addressing the addiction problem even more difficult. So to the extent we would have funds that we could ease some of that, it would make our job a lot easier and it would help these people a lot more.
Well, I have an experience. I see it every day. You know, in contrast to a lot of people that may be watching and listening or might be sitting off in the room, I see that every day. And it's real. So, you know what I mean, regardless of whether Mr. Champagne can feel that way, you know what I mean, you don't realize it until it hits your house. You understand what I'm saying? Now we can't police our way out of this. And so let me cut through the red tape. The man, the judge saying he need money, because just like up here, we don't get paid for a lot of things that we do. $17,000, that's not enough. I straight up said. So what you're doing, that is positive. You're not putting people in jail, not putting the children in jail, because I see a lot of children, they great-grandmother is taking care of the children, not to lose them to the system. And a lot of people, when they say I saw here briefly that they're looking for the methadone. Sometimes it's the cost of the methadone, where to get the methadone, where's those things that actually add into the situation. So it's not one agency here that's associated across the board in Terrebonne Parish. It's everybody's responsibility. We can't have a better community. If you worry about children that's being bad and going to our juvenile detention center and growing up to be bad kids, we have to work together about this. You know what I mean? He's saying he need money. You know what I mean? I know we got police officers and we got a lot of money going on there. I'm saying, I hear you, but I'm telling you what I'm thinking.
And I'll tell you, I don't want it all, but I want a big chunk of it.
Well, that's the bottom line.
All right.
That's the bottom line. Thank you. Floor's mouth don't get fed.
Thanks, Mr. Harding. Ms. Candace.
Thank you, sir. So we have had the conversation with Judge Arsenault on the Family Preservation Court, and I do believe administration supports it. Couple of things to make note of here. I don't know where the $1.1 million came from, because we have only received about $600,000. So we've been working with our attorneys on the reconciliation, so some of the reporting may be off a little, but we have not gotten 1.1 million. We have only gotten the 600, and that has been allocated to HPD. But the administration has put forth that once we get the next settlement, the next deposit, that we meet with the judges and determine how it can be utilized and added that way. So we don't have any money right now to put towards it. We are expecting to get another settlement, and unfortunately, the state doesn't tell me when it's coming. It just comes, and I have to go ahead and then account for it and budget. So once we get the next deposit, we will meet with Judge Arsenault and them and kind of determine what we can do, and hopefully put in a little bit more than just for 15 to 20, maybe help it last a little bit longer, because we are getting a good bit of money from the opioid. We just don't know when it's coming in and stuff like that. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit.
Do you mind, Mr. Chairman, if Ms. Dosky has?
Absolutely, go ahead.
So I have provided to everyone in their packets information from the Louisiana Opioid Task Force. I specifically asked for the projection for the fundings, as well as for the reports of what Terrebonne Parish has spent the money on in the first 3 years. What I received is in your packet. It's under the parish government allocations. And as you can see, Terrebonne Parish in year 1 and 2, which was together at the same time, $632,687. Year 3, they received $354,244. Year 4, which is the year we are currently in, and according to the email that I received from Louisiana Opioid Task Force, that money is to be coming in November, and that's $443,186,000. I also asked Louisiana Opioid Task Force for the reports from Terrebonne Parish, which they are required to submit to explain where they spent the money, and no reports have been given for the years 1, 2, and 3. The second spreadsheet that you receive is the sheriff's allocation, which shows you the money that sheriffs has received in years 1, 2, and 3, and expected to receive in year 4. These are projections all the way through year 18. If you read the notes, it indicates that these may be adjusted depending on future settlements that have not been finalized at this point in time. So this information that I provided to you came straight from the Louisiana Opioid Task Force.
Thank you, Ms. Dosky.
That's correct.
All right, Ms. Kim Chauvin.
Okay, so I had the pleasure of meeting with Judge Arsenault and Ms. Cooper and Ms. Dosky the other day, along with Kevin Champagne. And I'm glad to see that we are going to do something besides sweeping it underneath the rug, because I feel like this parish has swept this underneath the rug for far too long. and we have a major problem and it's blown up in our faces. I am actually very much for this. What I would like to know is, since HPD received, I don't understand the discrepancy. I really don't. So somewhere we have to figure out, is there more money that we didn't get? And that's a big deal. 600 to 1.1 million. We're missing a lot of money here. So I would say that should be like a definite task order to go and find out where it went, or what's happening. But the other thing is that, so with $443,186 that is supposed to come for year 4, how many can you facilitate in the family preservation court system? How many can you facilitate to keep them accountable and do the things that you do with parenting classes and, whatever else that they may need, the detox, the rehabs, and finding really good rehabs for these people to go into, which may be a long-term effect.
Well, I can tell you this, theoretically, the answer is unlimited, because all I can tell you is that with what we deal with now, the personnel that we have are at their limit. For example, Ms. Cooper is the program coordinator, responsible for everybody. We have Ms. Lauren Abair, who just received her master's degree in social work, who we employ to assist us with these folks. And these two people are working full-time.
Okay.
Ms. Dosky assists more with things that aren't treatment related, but helps us keep track of our finances and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So if, for example, we admitted 20 more people, I know that I would have to hire at least one full-time, maybe 2 full-time people who do what Miss Abair does. And I'd have to give Miss Cooper some more money, because I would be
a lot.
doubling her
Yeah.
caseload. And then other expenses that come along with that, the drug testing of more people, et cetera.
Okay.
More people to train it. But I mean, it would come to a point where I have to tell you, I would not be able to manage more than that, because I've got another full-time job on the side.
Right. No, I totally understand that part. Okay, so how many are on your wait list?
Right now, we currently have, and we use wait lists kind of loosely. There are people who have been referred to us who we are tracking or getting them in to finalize their paperwork. So right now, we have about 5 that are pending. Some of them might be in a rehab facility or at Chabert currently. We're just waiting to finalize those. So we have about 5 more, in addition to the 20, well, we're actually at 22 official. We have probably about 5 more that are in the process of the referral system. What I had submitted was a proposed budget for an additional 20 more people, using the same numbers that the Supreme Court provides us with, 8,000 per person per year. That would be another $160,000. The budget that I presented would be an increase for the administration personnel, which includes myself as well as Miss Val, another case manager for the treatment, and then we're increasing the laboratories and other expenses accordingly. Specifically, I put in here recovery support services. Those are the extras that Judge Arsenault just mentioned about the things that we can't pay for with Supreme Court money. Those are the rides to the treatment, the rides to drug testing, the rides to our appointments, our staffing. We also do things like get them a phone so that they can make those appointments and keep those appointments. We do things like providing for sober living. So when they come out of rehab, if they don't have a place to live, we can pay 1 month of sober living for them while they get a job so that they can continue to pay that. And that brings them back to the community and allows them to work their program here. And hopefully their children are also here so they can reconnect with their children. So those are some of the last item there is the recovery support services. Those are kind of the things that we use that money for.
But you do run into the issue of not having another parent and not having enough foster parents here in Terrebonne Parish, to where most of the children are outside of our parish. Therefore, you need to have something to reunite them, to be able to have that relationship, to
I'll-
cultivate that
I'll give you
relationship.
just a short example. I have someone in Family Preservation Court right now who has 2 children. The state split the children because they couldn't find a place that would take both of them. One is living in Luling, one is living in Destrehan. The mother is living in Houma. How is the mother supposed to visit her children once a week as state law provides? What did we do? We figured out how to get it done. The foster parents bring the children to Houma to visit the mother. They don't have to do that. But because the mother's in Family Preservation Court and they see an attempt to improve herself and address her problem, they are helping. So, but every case is a struggle. It's pulling teeth trying to figure out how we're going to do this. When if we had some funds, uh, we call Uber drivers now sometimes to, and that's probably the most inefficient way to do things. We've managed to strike up a relationship with the Council on Aging, so they're finally helping us with some transportation. But all of these problems that most of us don't have, and we just take things for granted, like where I'm going to sleep tonight, where I'm going to eat tonight, how I'm going to get to see my kids tomorrow, how am I going to make that drug test that they going to tell me at 8 o'clock in the morning I have to go do before noon today. We don't have those problems. These people have these problems, and a little bit money would go a long way to help us extend that lifting hand so that we can minimize the stress on them so that they can concentrate on getting better and having their children returned to them, getting a job, paying taxes, and not coming back to jail or to Family Preservation Court.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I love that you gave us the approved purposes for the opioid abatement strategies. It'll have me definitely reading it to see what we can do more in Terrebonne Parish. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ms. Kim. Ms. Basra?
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize our support of this program and getting the money there. Whenever I met with Judge Arsenault and Judge Pickett in March, it was because I felt then and still do now and going into this year that, behavioral health and drugs and opioids are a major problem in our community, much less the entire nation. I'm definitely trying to do our part. That's why a lot of our team attended the Behavioral Health Summit that Bayou Community Foundation put on in April, because we do believe that we got to do everything we can to help make sure we address these problems. And I've been involved personally, building apps for both Star Corporation and TCU to get them access to where their clients could find resources dealing with everything from behavioral health to opioids, food, you name it, shelter. And so we're definitely committed to this, and it is a major issue in our area. And I'm still committed as I was the day I met and talked about it in March, because I definitely feel it's one of our most pressing issues in our parish.
Right. Ms. Candace?
Thank you, sir. I just want to clear up the 632,000 that's in the schedule year 1 and year 2, and the 354,000 that is in year 3. We did receive those 2 distributions. It comes out to like 986,000, so we still have about 100 and something thousand that we need to reconcile. And we are working with the attorneys to, to make sure that we have gotten everything that we need. I just want to make sure to let you know and confirm, we did receive the 632,000 and the 354,000, and that all was budgeted to HPD to help with some overtime as well as for some equipment. Just want to clear that up, that we did receive it. It is in here. It was budgeted, and it has been approved by the council.
Thanks, Ms. Candace. Mr. Amity?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Dosky, looking at this budget, what it's saying is the 160,000 would give you the ability to handle another 15 to 20 participants.
Yes, sir. On top of what the Supreme Court has already funded us
Yeah,
for.
I just wanted to make sure that that number was accurate, because it seemed a little low to me. So you guys must be running an efficient shop.
We do, sir. And actually, we do a very good job of utilizing the community resources. So most of our clientele will qualify for Medicaid. So we ensure that they are apply for Medicaid, receiving Medicaid, and make sure our providers that we're currently using will accept their Medicaid. We use one of our treatment in the treatment category are our case managers, because they do run groups individually outside of the other providers. They also do individual counseling. So that treatment category includes our personnel, but the majority of our treatment for our clients are run by the community providers that are in our community.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming and presenting this to us. We tell people all the time, if we don't hear from you, then we can't take an action to help you. So again, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Amity. Mr. Daniel Babin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just a question for Candace, and thank you, Judge and Ms. Dosky. We will be receiving money. As you said, you're just not sure when it's going to come in. When that money does come in, the allocation of it comes back to the council for distribution. I think you've got the feeling of council and of administration already, so I think you will be seeing money come that you did not have before. I mean, that's the general conversation I'm hearing tonight. How much will it be? How much we're gonna get and when we're gonna get it, that's still undetermined, but it does come back before us. And like I said, I think you feel the sentiment of this council. So I think we'll be trying to help you out.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right?
we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Babin. I don't have any further lights, Judge, Ms. Dosky, but from the chair, that's, it's, I think, consensus up here and also with the administration that your program is viable.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for entertaining us here tonight. I know this has been a long presentation. I appreciate you letting us take this time. And I want to thank all the people behind me for being patient because I don't think they're going to be as long. But I appreciate their patience too. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
That was city court, right? District court. Sorry.
All right, so moving on to the budget hearings, we will look at the clerk of court, which is on page 70, and the budget highlights is no significant changes. The ward court is going to be on the next page, page 71. This is for the justice of the peace and the constables. Their wages do include the state supplemental pay, which is reimbursed by the state monthly. Every justice of the peace and constable shall attend at least one training course with the attorney general every other year, and we do have that training in the budget accordingly.
I have a light, Ms. Candace, Mr. Carr-Harding.
And they still operate on the system, on the honor system and reference their mileage and everything?
Yes, sir. They turn it in every month.
All right, thank you.
Judicial other, we have Act 1031 of the 2003 regular session amended the state law to increase the daily compensations for serving on a jury. It increases the jury filing fees in civil cases to the clerk of court and the amount deposited into the registry of court. For 2025, we have our court warrants budgeted or proposed at $70,000, which is the same as 2024. Parish president budget highlights on page 75. In January 2013, the ordinance 8258 established the compensation of the parish president effective in 2016, and it is computed as the average salary of the parish sheriff, clerk of court, and assessor, and is certified annually by the human resources director, and this has been included in our budget. We also have some changes to current positions. It's no changes to pay grade or annual salary. It is just changing the title. It's the office manager to chief of staff and the executive secretary to executive assistant.
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim Chauvin?
I have a question. And as I'm looking in it under the mission statement and the goals and objectives, the white building expanding foot traffic downtown, you went from 25% and you're going into 100%. Can you explain what that is? I'm a little lost on that. A white building expanding foot traffic?
I see it's item 3B.
Yep, sorry.
Should I say Whitney Building? Yeah, I think
That
should say Whitney Building. It's like a type of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, what
What's the
in
white
the world
building?
is a white building?
Me too.
Okay, the Cynthia Louisiana LLC. Can you explain that? I'm not sure what that is.
Chase, go ahead.
So yeah, that's the project we're working with, and I gotta give Tita the credit, and if they want to talk about it a little bit, they can. But that's the project where the company was moving out to Gibson to do the lily work,
Oh, okay.
and so they ended up doing ribbon cutting and all. So we consider that level of that project. But if Cohen wants to elaborate a little bit,
Okay, no problem. Sorry, guys, I didn't know what it was.
Good evening. Cohen Guidry, Executive Director of TITA. So Project Cynthia is a Belgium company that's coming in. They're working on their pilot program and is currently chasing down investors for the growth of it as well. So they unfortunately we had the hurricane kind of threw everything into a whirl. Whenever we were there, we were due to do a road tour and water tour on the Wednesday, September 11th, the day that the storm hit. So we kind of had to throw that out the window. So we were unable to bring that group of investors from South Africa for that, but they have since found a local company that is showing some interest in investing into their process and everything else. Which still under NDA they don't want it to be publicized as of yet, but it's a financially strong, viable company and family that's looking to possibly get involved with that as well because of some childhood dealings with one of the main owners in the company. But there's still a lot of great things going on. The test program, and I plan to give that as my end of year one of the projects that they're doing. But they're looking for 300 tons a day, wet tons a day, to be able to harvest.
I got you. All in Chauvin.
Look, this is just we've spent a lot of Public Works has dedicated a lot of time to us to help me go through Google Maps and measure these areas of what we can do. And that was a big thing as far as to help them with their business plan to give to investors, because the original group of investors that came out of South Africa said there's no way you can support this many lilies. And we were all like, hold my beer and watch.
Right.
And so it's when they came down and they got to see some of it. I was able to meet with them the Tuesday evening before the storm hit, and with some large maps with it scaled out, marked, highlighted to show them with 300 tons of lilies, marked in an area on a map, and they were just blown away. And they said, "Well, we certainly got lots and lots and lots of years." So they're looking at doing modular sites in other parts of the parishes. So.
Okay.
And then have Gibson as their hub to where they bring it back there to do the drying and
Right.
processing. And Senator Island has given a bunch of good support on this as well.
No, I appreciate it because I know that in our area, in commercial fisheries, we'd be happy to not have it sprayed anymore.
Exactly.
So-
And look, just real quick, between wildlife and fisheries and the parish, it's over $500,000 a year spent on the chemical to spray it, which is polluting our waterways.
Correct.
And think about when we have droughts,
No, I get it.
so,
Pretty bad.
all right,
One
thanks.
more thing. The litter signage, where has that been? Because I just haven't seen it in my area, so and it could be started, they just started it out and they're putting it in the parish, but I see that on quality of community and family life 2, B2. So I'm just asking if you,
Go ahead, Ms. Badger.
so keep in mind, and I'm gonna say this because I had to look at it for a second, that the expectation is by the end of 25 to have this 100%, right? So that just showing where it's at 25 versus 100, 24 versus 25. But I know we did start off with the Bayou Revival, and we're putting signs on bridges.
okay,
So I don't know how many we did, but
no, thanks.
Ms. Lerat?
We probably did about 25%. That's pretty accurate. We did do some down the bayou. Check and see if there's any on Bayou Sally at the
Bayou Sally.
where they cross.
Okay.
Where they fish. There should be one there. If not, I know we have them at all our boat launches, our public boat launches.
Okay,
We started with that, and we started with I guess bridges and just highly trafficked areas where people go into the water. So, but let me know about Bayou Sally.
I definitely will.
Thank you, Ms.
Okay,
Lerat.
thank you.
Ms. Kim? Ms. Candace.
Okay, moving on to communications. On page 79, we have about $15,000 in capital. It's 2 Apple Mac Studios, 4 Apple Studio displays, as well as 2 Apple MacBook Pro. And most of this is for the drones and the editing and the software for editing any videos required. Our register of voters, which is on page,
Mr. Harding.
Mm-hmm. Communications. I was in the conversation, and I see part of the mission statement here, on page 77. It says social media support. That's a Super Bowl. And I guess I wanted to ask the question, are we doing anything to actually advertise in reference to how good we have it here in Terrebonne Parish in reference to our social media? We want to communicate our great life here we have here. Also, I noticed that it had, what's that, a 12% decrease in this particular area right here,
yes, sir.
page 79. I would love to know where the decrease is coming because I see a bunch of pluses here. I want to know the difference between communication system and what's on page 83, financial accounting, and we have information and technology. What's the difference there? See, on page 77, we're saying social media in the mission statement. On page 83, it says information and technology.
On number 4.
Right here? Okay. I'm trying to figure out, I know we got information technology, Mrs.
It's a simple typo, sir. On page, okay, so on page 83, the Information Technologies Division, that is simply because the IT department used to be under finance, and I just didn't take it out of the sentence when I did this budget.
Yeah, because I was looking at the numbers and so that would actually change those dollar amounts for those individuals that are getting paid in information technology and how many people are in there. Because I'm really comparing. The
It's a
dollars
completely
instead.
separate budget and a completely separate scenario back behind internal service fund. So it's the Information Technology Division is not even part of communications or finance. It's just where it falls in the organizational chart of the parish government.
Yeah, because I was wondering because the chief communication officer maxed out at $156,000, and the mid range is $118,000. I was just actually curious on who was getting paid what and why because we're actually kind of putting everything all together. So
we're still funding for them in separate departments. So Chief Communications Officer is over communications, which is out of general fund.
Mm-hmm.
They are over what you are usually used to us referring to as the Information Technology Department, which is going to be Fund 390, which is considered an internal service fund because it is providing services to other departments within parish government.
Mm-hmm.
So other departments actually pay for the services that the Information Technology Division does. So it is not included in this budget here of 151, 132. We're going to get to it later tonight.
Okay.
And to answer your question about the decrease in the 12%, under the budget highlights, I should have put in there that we did eliminate the executive secretary. So when we first started with the department, we had an executive secretary position, and we have since determined that that position is not needed within this department and funding source, so it's being eliminated. So that would explain for that decrease.
Yeah, and I forgot about that in my research. I want to revert back to that, you know what I mean? But I didn't know what position, were you calculating that $34,000 that you're not filling that position in? So that's going to be that 12%.
Yes, sir.
Part of that 12%.
Part of it, yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Ms. Basham, sorry.
Going back, and I thought you said Super Bowl. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, in New Orleans.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so and our social media and our communication. What we want to do, I just want to know because we were talking about information technology and communication. You know, man, they can fly into Homer and take one of the limousines and go back over there and take one of our hotels. So hopefully, you know, man, we can actually promote this fine area that we have, and they can go on a couple of swamp tours while they come here. So that's what we're talking about. We're just actually trying to make some improvements. Okay.
Mr. Robert Lee.
Well, let me start first. So I've been in communications with both Explore Homa and TITA, looking at it from both a tourism and an economic development perspective, to make sure we're definitely doing everything we can to make sure, people are coming down here. I know we're actually already booking hotel rooms for people that are going to the Super Bowl. And so, working with them to do anything we can support it from, the parish and economic development and from tourism, and then from there transition it to Robbie from the marketing and everything like that. But we are definitely trying to do everything and talking to anybody we can, the Lieutenant Governor's office saying, hey, Terrebonne Parish is a great local safe stay for the Super Bowl, so come on down and have a good time down here, and then hang out for Mardi Gras also.
And then we'll transition to more marketing of like the stuff we have inside Terrebonne Parish. So if they have swamp tours, people want to go on during the while they're down for the Super Bowl, because not everybody's gonna come down and want to stay just in New Orleans. So there's an opportunity to kind of get some of the people to come down here that want to do some of the things that we have in Terrebonne Parish.
Yeah, it's
So
try
we're gonna
Los
cap-
Angeles to go.
Yeah, we're gonna
takes
cap-
5
we're gonna-
hours to go 2
Yep.
miles.
So we're working with the tourism commission to capitalize on that, and then they could use our avenue, like we have on Facebook and Instagram. We got well over 20,000 followers on Facebook, which is up from I want to say about 11,000 from January. So we went about 10,000 in less than a year. So they'll be able to, the tourism commission will be able to use our page also to advertise the other stuff we have for tourists to do inside Terrebonne Parish.
Thank you, Mr. Harding, Ms. Lee. Ms. Candace?
All right, next is our register of voters on page 80. And we have no significant changes under the budget highlights. On page 82, this is our elections. The election expense for 2025 is proposed at 25,000, which is a decrease of 25,000, and that is mainly because it's not a presidential election in 2025, so the expenses should be a normal year for elections. Moving over to page 84, so this is the finance accounting department. The budget highlight is we have one personnel, which we are eliminating one accounting specialist, grade 105. Customer service, which is going to be on page 87. Again, a personnel highlight. We're eliminating one field technician 1, which is a grade 103. Legal services, which are going to be on page 90, are budget highlights. You'll see here the parish-wide legal fees, which include parish-wide, so not just what's in this general fund proposed number. So for 2025, for general legal services, we're proposing 500,000, and for litigation, we're proposing 375,000. We will also have the same $36,894 for the Southeast Louisiana Legal Services for the legal assistance to low-income persons.
Got a couple lights, Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I did a little research because I had the pleasure of attending Southeast Louisiana's Legal Services, who, by the way, I'll just show this. But I was able to, talk with them and see a little bit more of what they're doing. And they recognize the parish government and the council with their Circle of Justice Award for the years of support that we've given them. So I went back to look at the years of support that we've given them. And from what I see, our relationship with them started in 2012 at $24,000 a year. In 2015, it went to $30,000 a year. And it seemed to have followed that. Last year, I'm not sure why we gave $36,000, but what I want to do is I want to propose to just make that a flat $40,000. So make a note of that. And I've also asked representatives of Southeast Louisiana Legal Services. We have with us Ms. Laura Tuggle and Ms. Celeria Gums. I just asked them to speak a few minutes so that the members can hear what exactly they do, because you hear legal services and you think criminal matters or something, but that's not what they do. They do civil services. And with a lot of people, not getting their successions done over the years. When Ida came through, they couldn't get any help because they didn't have clear titles to the property. So that's been a big thing that they're doing. But I'll let Miss Laura introduce herself and Miss Valeria and just give us a brief presentation of what exactly they do so that we all can be instructed on what you guys were able to share with me.
Will do. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk and for all of y'all's support over the years. We are a nonprofit law firm. We are the largest nonprofit law firm in the state, and our Homa office serves Terrebonne Parish and also Lafourche and Assumption. And over the past few years, as Mr. Amadeus indicated, we have been doing a lot more work in civil services for people that need help with successions, but that's just a small part of what we do. We also have attorneys that are court appointed to represent children that are taken into state custody, and we represent the children that are in the family preservation court, where we're all hoping to be able to reunify those children with their parents. So we do have a presence in that work as well that you just heard about. And I'm so glad I was here tonight to hear about some exciting potential developments on that front. Another thing that we do, a big priority for us, is providing free legal help to domestic violence survivors. We have a partnership with the Haven, and they provide a range of services to survivors. But the type of legal work that they usually do, if they can engage in it at all, is usually help filling out a protective order and getting it filed. And sometimes they're able to get an attorney in those protective orders. We get a lot of referrals from them to provide attorneys at the protective order hearings or to deal with what we call extended legal services beyond protective orders, where we are trying to help a survivor get custody issues resolved, to get divorce issues resolved, and sometimes there's issues around consumer issues, or there may be housing issues that come up, because if you don't deal with those issues, the likelihood that a survivor of domestic violence may go back to an abuser or may have ongoing entanglements with them is really high. So that is one of our highest priorities that we do. To talk a little bit more about the succession work. So hopefully everybody's familiar with that, but if not, with a lot of programs that get involved to help people rebuild their homes or replace their homes, you have to prove that you were in fact the legal owner at the time of an event. So a lot of this is connected to disasters. You may be trying to get money from FEMA. You may be applying for long-term recovery funding from the state's Restore Louisiana program. And sometimes not having title cleared can even prevent you from getting your own insurance proceeds. And most common example of that is maybe it was a married couple and one of the spouses has passed away, and then you put in a claim after a disaster and you end up getting an insurance check made out to you and your deceased spouse that you can't do a thing with until you're able to resolve it. So doing this work on the front end, we've really had our eyes open that we need to be doing it in response to disasters, because unfortunately we're having more and more of them, but also we need to be doing it when there may not be a disaster that's just hit us, so that our communities can be better prepared, so they don't have to wait. That any time that's built into waiting for resources, it causes potentially, if your home could have been saved potentially, if you're waiting months and months, the mold takes over, then you have other issues that may come to bear. So we really want to not only be doing it post-disaster, but pre-disaster. And then there's a host of other issues that you need a succession done as well. One thing that started happening a few years ago, about 5 years ago or so, there was a new law that requires the Bureau of Vital Records to send notices of death to the all assessor's office when someone dies in their parish. And when that happens, the assessors will check their records and determine, is there still an owner of record that I can tell that is on the title to the property? And if they don't see a titled owner of record, then that may in turn remove the homestead exemption. Now, that doesn't mean somebody's not living in the home. Many, many times it could be a grandchild who moved in, trying to take care of the property, or a daughter or a son. And they may not realize how important it is to get this legal work done, because if you lose the homestead exemption, you stand a risk of potentially losing your family legacy, your family asset, over sometimes less than $1,000. So it's really important that we're doing this work. We also help, we get a lot of referrals. We have a partnership also with START, and we get a fair amount of referrals from START to help veterans trying to access an array of legal services, or it could be other folks that are struggling with a variety of health issues to try to help them resolve issues around benefits or other things. One area that we would like to do more work in the coming year, really two things, and then I'll close. We would really like to do more with expungements. Expungements are a huge issue, and when someone has a criminal record or an arrest record, that can really prevent them from being able to get job opportunities in the future. I don't know if you all know this, but Louisiana has the highest cost of doing expungements in the state of Louisiana. So while we can offer our services for free, there is a $550 cost to do those expungements generally. Sometimes you can get it a little bit lower. And getting the jobs and employment that folks need to take care of their families, we really want to do more of that work in the future and get out in the community and do that assistance. Another thing we want to do in the coming year is a lot more community outreach. So we're really proud of the new place that we're in. It is way more inviting, way more accessible, larger to accommodate our staff, and we really want to get out more in the community so that folks know we're there. I'm going to stop, but we're in the Atrium Building at 1340 West Tunnel in Suite 101. I will take any questions you might have, if you have any.
Mr. Carl Hardy?
Basically, all statements. Actually, I'm glad that Mr. Amity had brought this up. For a long time, I've asked the question, how many people are you servicing? And I guess to ask the question was, we're dealing with that $30,000 and just happened to get $6,000 more last year, and I appreciate that from Candace, is that there's more to it than I really realized. Even with the expungement, that actually helps out a lot. For sure, when people want to get the insurance, and you're absolutely right, they can't afford to actually cover that hole in their roof. So the longer it takes for that to take place, we have a problem. So I can ask you a question. I really want to know, I've been trying to find out, how many people have you helped?
I can tell you that in 2023, we helped 1,095 people, and with direct cases. And we measure to the best of our ability. We're a bunch of lawyers, we're not statisticians, but we have something that when we close a case, and those are in closed cases, that's not counting the open cases, we have something called an economic benefit. So if we help someone get their insurance proceeds, or if we help a veteran obtain disability benefits, or if we help a domestic violence survivor obtain child support, we record that in our case management system. And last year, it was just shy of $2 million of direct economic benefits as a result of the legal work. We also, our largest single funder, who's the Louisiana Bar Foundation, they do an economic benefit study to determine what they call social return on investment. And last year, when they did an update, they determined that for every dollar that's invested in civil legal service programs like ours, there's $17.99 of social return on investment. I don't know exactly how they do it. I just know that's what they publish. So a couple of years before that, it was $9.18. But whichever way you slice it, that's a pretty good return on a dollar's worth of investment.
And I appreciate those numbers, and I think, Mr. Amity, we're probably gonna need more money than that, because, with that type of return on your money, I think we can make an investment there. And that also is associated with the judge, and I'm pretty sure the coroner's back there. There are certain situations whereas, you can look at opportunities that when we all working together. Because I ran into a situation where a lady had a problem with, her son, but then we could not actually get him committed or keep him committed. So, you know what I mean? If we can look at certain circumstances, how we can help, because these people are not going to Rougarou. They're not going, you know what I mean, this, there, and the other. So we want to improve and get those people to get to the opportunity where they can take their kids to Rougarou and all the other programs that we have here. So as a whole, we got to look at all of Terrebonne Parish and look at there's a need out there for those people that really need.
Right.
That really need. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mr. Harding. One more, ma'am.
I have one more.
Ma'am?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Tim Chauvin?
Okay. I had a question because something had come up, and I'm kind of wondering if you would fall in between that when you have elderly people that are maybe near a burrow pit or a pond or something, and it affects their house. And they can't afford an engineer, they can't afford a lawyer to come in and help with that. Is that something that you would take on?
I'm not sure that we would be able to take that on. We don't really get into
She just said she did, so.
property disputes or property boundary disputes or I don't think that we
It's
would have
not-
the
It would be like the house
resources.
is cracking or something of that nature. I'm just asking because I
Now
want to know
we-
if this is one of those things that would help some of the elderly low-come that are living on a budget, you know, and it's affecting their quality of life in their own house.
Well, we do get some referrals
Okay.
from seniors or from other agencies that are helping seniors where they may be able to apply for a grant to make
Okay.
some changes to their home or something like that. And a lot of times they have to prove the same thing. I legally own this home.
Right.
So we do get those kind of referrals.
No, I think you're in the atrium building where you said? Where is it located?
Suite 101, 1340 West Tunnel.
Thank you so much.
Right down the street from that new
glass
project y'all
building.
are gonna be
Okay.
approving. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Kim. One more, ma'am.
That's okay, it's just more of a mistake.
Mr. Daniel Babin?
Yeah, thank you.
Hit your light again, Danny. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chip. Yeah, you know, you talk about secessions, and I know you're trying to get people back into things, but the secession process of lack thereof holds us up on condemnations. And that's one of the reasons why we are so far behind, especially in the low-lying areas. People have not done secessions over the years. So people ask us all the time, why can't we go any faster with our condemnations? Because we want to clean up the parish. And one of those main reasons is
Correct.
because of lack of secessions that have been done over the years.
The most complicated one I think I've seen yet was almost 200 years
Yeah,
of work
it's amazing.
of unopened successions. But that's the thing. Many times you will find that the person calling you, you actually need to do the succession for the mom, the grandmother. Then you can't find the other members. And we try to as much as we can, concentrate that title in the person that's trying to live in the home and take care of it or get back into the home and repair it. Because if you wind up with all this fractional ownership all over the place, it's really hard for that person to do the things they need to do to take care of that property. So we do try to getting one case involved where we're trying to do acts of donation and locate missing heirs, and we may have to do a curator. Like you may have a lot of hours of work just for the one result.
We appreciate the work that you do.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stand here just in case.
You are good now, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Candace?
Okay, thank you. So we will now go to planning and zoning on page 93, and under their budget highlights is no significant changes. And going to code violation.
Sorry, Ms. Kim
Yes,
Sylvan?
ma'am.
I noticed under, let me see, goals and objectives on 92 in economic development. And it does have under B, 1B. Um, do we give money to each festival that comes along, or do we pick and choose a festival that we're giving money to? Because I think someone had told me that we did Rougarou where we gave them a
Yes, ma'am. So you
chunk of
will,
money.
so in, this probably shouldn't really be in this budget, anymore, but 2024 and beyond, before that, we did give some money to Rougarou Fest, the Arts Festival. Christmas Festival was something that we put on, but you will see that that is no longer in the budgets for 2025. So we have cut out all of any funding supplements to festivals in the parish, except for the co-sponsorships.
Right. No, okay. Understood that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Kim. Ms. Candace?
So moving on to code violation and compliance, page 98, they have no significant changes as well. General other on page 100, no significant changes. The coroner's office on page 101, no significant changes.
Ms. Sorry. You good? Okay. Miss Candace, the coroner is here and it looks like he wants to share something with us there. Just state name and address for the record, guys, that's all.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Patrick Walker, coroner, Terrebonne Parish.
My name is Helen Boudreau, Office Administrator.
Coroner's office, yeah. So, yeah, we were taking a quick look at our budget, and we noticed that in 2023, we got about $943,000, and then for 25, we're getting about 805,000. Now, we have a couple of confounding factors that I wanted to highlight. First of all, we were using Windows 7, which was outdated in 2015, had an extension in 2020, so we were non-compliant. And that cost us about $14,000 out of our current budget. We also were charging about $53,000 a year for cremations. And now, according to the Attorney General consensus and opinion, we are no longer can charge $53,000 for that. So that's another 53 plus 14,000 that we're going to lose. In addition to that, because of the inflation, we're going to be looking at a cut altogether. When I go through all the increase in stuff like pension benefits for employees that are no longer working with us, insurance and everything, it comes up to about $120,000 in the red that we're going to be. And I wanted to make a proposal to see if the parish can actually help us out with that cremation fee, which we made last year about $53,000. And I'm asking if we could keep the budget at what it was for 2023.
Okay. Now, according to Ms. Candace, maybe you can help us out, but according to what we have here in front of us, 2023 actuals were 805, 641, and 2025 proposed is 805,626.
923.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I believe it's the difference between budget and actual, but let me pull up the 2023 budget.
Ms. Kim, while she's doing that.
When you talked about not being able to charge for cremations, what happened and that changed?
So it's the previous Attorney General, it was an opinion that someone had asked for, and when the new Attorney General came into office, actually, we went to a meeting of the Coroners Association, and she actually told us that she just signed all the opinions that were on desk that was previously proposed or decision was made prior to her becoming Attorney General. And so I tried to charge that $100 cremation fee, and I got a lot of backlash from the local funeral homes. One gentleman even told me that it was more like malfeasance. So after that, I spoke to our attorney, and he told me that we most likely should not charge that fee.
Most likely, or
Well, he said
can't?
he advised me not to charge it. Yes, that was his advice.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Mr. Trosclair?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Walker, according to the numbers you gave us, 53,000 and 14,000, and then miscellaneous, a total of 120,000 shortfall for 25 is your projected shortfall, right?
Yes.
So in the case of a shortfall like that, who's responsible to balance your budget at the end of the year? I mean, how does that shortfall become made right, made whole?
Well,
Either
so
you
I
or
haven't
Candace,
even.
I don't know.
That's just the surface, because we also had some incidentals where we were charged $900 for an autopsy by a licensed pathologist, because whenever we have a homicide in Terrebonne Parish, we have to send it to Jefferson Parish. We do the autopsies. We do most of our autopsies. We do our autopsies on motor vehicle accidents, natural deaths, and suicides. But we don't, for legal purposes, we don't do the autopsies on homicides. We just had one recently, a little boy. We had this. So previously, we had a contract with one of the pathologist that was charging us $900 on autopsy, and because she got overwhelmed, she could no longer do it. So we have to send our autopsies now to Jefferson Parish, which is going to cost us a total of $2,000. So that's like an extra $1,100 for those autopsies, and so I haven't even included that.
But
So
my question was, at the end of the year, how do you go about resolving your shortfall? I mean,
well, I would love to answer that question because I've only been coroner for 8 months. So I'm trying to figure out, that's the question I'm posing now.
okay,
Who's responsible for that shortfall?
okay.
So just to elaborate a little bit on that, for 2025, they will have fund balance that can cover some of that shortfall. Once that is no longer available, it will have to come down to either the coroner's office making some budget cuts, just like we've done with all of our departments, or the parish increasing their supplement to them. And to also go back, 2023, the budget, the other services and charges budget was the 805,000. We did give them some additional $55,000 for a vehicle in 2023, but the total was 860,000. The budget. So they only spent the 805,000 in 2023 that you're seeing in front of you right now.
But that budget was handled before I became coroner.
Gotcha. Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead, I'm
Okay.
trying to think.
All right. Question, you said that you send autopsies to another parish to be done?
Yeah, Jefferson Parish. We have to have the homicides have to be done by a licensed pathologist, forensic pathologist. All right. I mean, we can take a chance and do it, but we're gonna end up in court and there's gonna be some litigations and stuff because we're not licensed forensic pathologists. We're just regular we're medical doctors, but we're not forensic pathologists. And usually when the cause of death really matters, for example, we have a few cases that we have one case now that we involved in a lawsuit because that case was done by a licensed forensic pathologist, and the family members are still questioning the results of the autopsy. And for that reason, if I had done that autopsy, we would have a legal argument that I'm not a licensed forensic pathologist.
Okay. All right. Mr. Danny Babin?
Yeah, Candace, you mentioned the fund balance. Do you know off the top of your head what the fund balance is in the coroner's office?
I do not, but I will tell you, Miss Kayla Dupree in my office, well, actually, I might. If you look on page 336, this is the actual budget that the coroner's office has prepared for this. And this is prepared and helps, with Dr. Walker's and Helen's assistant with our comptroller, Miss Kayla Dupree. So we do have, projection of about 85,000 in fund balance that we can carry over for 2025.
Okay. And that include the 83,000 or 85,000 plus the 805 that we're budgeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That will cover some of the money that you're talking about, the 53,000 in the 14,000.
Yeah, it would cover some
number.
of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, correct.
I just want to make sure that we have enough money that we can perform our services in a professional way.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that we do reflect that 80-something thousand on top of this 805 that is the proposed budget for 2025.
Now, in addition to all this, I've started a new program. Our program is the opioid interception and prevention program, and I'm not asking for any money for that. All I need is probably to have a budget the same where I can employ. I just need one employee, and we can get this program into place. And I can explain some more if y'all need some more information on the program that we have started.
Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I did, and I don't need information on that. You mentioned something about that you were charging funeral homes, I think, on the cremations.
That's correct.
And the Attorney General ruled. I knew that Attorney General Landry at the time, who's now the governor, had ruled on that. But you're not obliged to pay back to any funeral homes anything that you have collected up to this
No,
point.
no.
Okay.
Because
Because that would be a burden on top of what you're already talking about.
that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Chauvin?
The question. So you have the 53,000 to 14,000, that's 67,000. I'm kind of lost because you said you need about 120.
So-
Where's the other 53?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a deficit of $17,000 because from the cost of the autopsies, because previously we were paying $900 and we do about an average of 16 autopsies per year, and now that cost has increased by $1,900, so that's gonna be an extra $17,000 that we're gonna need there.
Okay, so now you're at 36.
Right. And then the cost of the computers that we had to take over our budget for this year, which was $17,000. And in addition to that, we also have to have some money to establish an iCloud system. Of course, the old server system is outdated, and I'm not sure how much that's going to cost us. In addition to that, we also have some changes in the physical, I can go through the whole list if you want. So the increases for the group insurance went up from 148,000 to 174,000. So that's a net, that's $26,000. The physical plant insurance is gonna go up another from $6,100. Um, the office supplies, an extra $1,900. So these are all projections in the, because of inflation, that these individual group insurance, the physical plant insurance, office supplies, these are all projected to increase a total of, let me see, over here, a total of $109,000 plus the 17,000 for the increase in autopsy fees.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Steve Trosclair?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Walker, you said that y'all operating system was like the Windows 7?
That's correct. That's before my time.
Right.
We were non-compliant with
Now,
Microsoft does
my
not
question
service.
is, I know we've been doing a lot of upgrades here in the government towers with our, computers and IT systems. And I know we wasn't operating on Windows 7. We was somewhere way above that. I mean, I'm wondering if there's any way we could maybe work with some of the stuff that we replaced that would get you way up above where you are, where you don't have to spend all that money.
No, we have the computers now.
Oh, you've already got
Yeah,
it.
we have them. That's, the cost was $14,000. That's why I'm saying that came out of the budget for
Okay.
this year, which should have been out of a budget maybe 10 years ago.
Definitely. But
So-
it just something crossed my mind, rather than going into a negative shortfall at the end of the year, to buy some time, we could have used some of the stuff that we replaced here in government towers. But if you've already got it,
Yeah, we have the computers
that's
already,
good.
yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, my argument was that, these are events that occurred before I became coroner. And now I'm finding myself in a jam because, we're trying to not sort of go above and above what we need. We're just trying to become parallel to what everybody else in the world is using.
Mr. Robbie Lee?
Yeah, so Mr. Steve, early on, as you know, Mr. Brown, we got with them early on and we changed all of our stuff. I want to say 6 months ago.
Yes.
About 6, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
While we were there, I actually went out with Quinn and I actually took a look at all his stuff that he has, and we did find a couple of ways we probably could save him. Not as much as he would need, but like another 2 or 3 grand from looking at some of the older stuff we had. Me and Quinn have been working the last couple of months putting some stuff together to try to save him a little bit more money and possibly scoop them into our system and what we use here, because what they need is not like huge, but it would only save them. Again, we're trying to figure out how to save them as much money as we could. It's probably gonna end up only saving them about another $3,000 or $4,000 a year. Me and Quinn are almost finished putting everything together, and we were hoping to get it to them before the end of the year, so that come New Year, they would be able to save that going into the new year for next year's budget. Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay, Mr. Lee, thank you. Now, Mr. Walker, you said something else. Are we good? You had something else you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Easy enough then.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Candace? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Harding?
Miss Candace?
Yes, sir.
Is it for Ms. Walker?
No, not Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple things that come up tonight. And we're reviewing the proposed budget for next year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we would somehow or another, if we can, before the first week in December, and any adjustments that we see that we could make across the board. I know it's kind of edged in stone because, we need money over here, we're gonna need money over there. We also making cuts in certain things. So I'm a firm believer, not bigger, better, just more efficient. And that's a necessity. You know what I mean? The opioid crisis, police is a necessity. So I'm just saying we have an opportunity. I think we all want to help everybody that come here. It's not able to do it, but help like that coming over here and the judge getting help and other people getting help. Let's see how we can get uh, everything to work out together because we're getting rid of salaries and not hiring people and stuff like that. We're saving this, that, and the other. I just want to make that statement. We're reviewing the projected budget for 2025, and we have an opportunity to make the adjustments, and we're open for recommendations.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Harding. I'm sorry, can
That's
Ms.
okay. I'm
Candace?
sorry. So, Mr. Harding, couple of things. One thing that we did do when we were preparing this budget is we sat down with every director and we went line item by line item and said, okay, how can we have some cost savings? And we met with some of the outside agencies that we were able to fit into the schedule and met with them and talked to them about, hey, can we get you on our software, our network, our phone system to save some money? So we are kind of working towards that efficiency and that effectiveness that this administration has kind of started with when they started. The other thing is if there is an adjustment that you want or any of you want to see in the proposed budget, I need you to tell me what it is and what the amount is when we're doing these budget hearings, or it will not come up on Monday unless administration decides that it's a change that they want to add to it. So
But that would bring me to a point then, whereas Mr. Amity made mention from $36,000 with the legal funds to $40,000. Do we have to pose that into a vote or actually
no,
try
sir. It'll come to the vote that first Monday night meeting.
Okay, so
I mean, that first December Monday committee meeting.
yeah, so
Whatever.
are we going to be aware of these changes? You know what I mean? That's going to be made. If I ask for $30,000 and he asks for $4,000, when are we going to be aware? And
So every night
As a-
when we talk about them, when you tell me what they are, I'll put them on that Monday night's agenda for you to vote on. So you'll get it when you get the agenda for that Monday night.
okay.
Yeah, I just want to add too, we're also working with Dr. Walker to get him into a better building, moving him from where he is by the municipal auditorium to the old main library. And so we're doing some things in that situation to, I know we work on making cuts with everybody, but also making sure that all these inside and outside agencies are in the best possible location and building and everything else. So I just wanted to share that's something else we're working on.
Thank you, Mr. Bradshaw. Mr. Babin?
Yeah, just, and I'm glad you said that, Jason, because on a day-to-day basis, y'all are doing a lot of things that we don't necessarily know about what's going on. You present them to us once we get up here, okay, or you get up here. And the only thing I want to allude to is I asked earlier about the money that would be coming in on the on the Judge Arsenault's deal. That is recorded already that, well, first of all, you had already mentioned when and not if, but when that money comes in, it has to be presented to us before
Yes,
we
sir.
do anything. So it will come back to us and not necessarily on that Monday night in the budget. 'Cause
That
it
one,
could come in
correct.
after. All
That
right.
one is correct. Yes, so that's
Correct.
not a change to the proposed budget.
Correct.
That's gonna come when we
That's
get
in
the money.
addition to, sure, thank you.
Mr. Voisin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I know we covered it in the beginning, for the council budget. I would like to see a slight increase in that, in order for us to be able to, give our staff a little bit of a pay increase, for cost of living, merit. So if y'all can make that work, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Voisin. Ms. Kim Chauvin?
I definitely second that on our council staff.
Okay, Ms. Candace, it's back to you.
All right, so we are on the parish VA service office. The parish supplements the state veteran service office by $24,160.
Ms. Kim Chauvin, I'm sorry.
You had the parish VA. Okay, this is news to me, that we even had a VA service office.
Mhm.
So I'm just kind of wondering, Bobby,
as a communications director, can we put that out there for a lot of people to know that they can use that and what they do and, you know, just kind of like lay it out online, what services that they offer for our veterans and stuff like that. I would appreciate that. Me either. When I looked in this book, I went, oh, we have a VA office?
They're not back in yet. No, they're over at the VFW in Barrow.
Barrow Street.
They'll come back.
Yeah, they're normally in this building, but they haven't been here. And once we're finished doing here, they'll come back.
Okay. I'd appreciate that because I know that we have a lot of people trying to get benefits and stuff. And they're going round and round in circles. And maybe that they could help them, you know, in reaching out and getting this done. So I'm just trying to make it easier for the service people to be able to get what they need.
And I like that. I know I'm still lit up here, but I'll add to it. You know, the plan is to get the Legion building finished and have that really be the hub of VA services and resources and all. So whether they stay here or move over there or whatever we decide to do, because it's also a parish building, I think that's definitely going to really highlight the availability of resources, bringing all those different veterans organizations together in that Legion, either physically or just on a regular basis. So
In which building you said?
Legion building
Legion building.
on Legion Park. Yeah.
Okay. So the Lennox Hotord post, what is?
That's that.
That's that. Okay. That helps me to know. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Mr. Bajon, Ms. Chauvin. Candace, back to you.
All right, so now we're on the general fund other, the health and welfare. Veterans Homeless Shelter is 28,000, same as 2024. And the Lennox Hotard American Legion operating is 20,000, which is the same as 2024. Publicity is gonna be, page 112. We have holiday expenses and parades, 58,000. Co-sponsorships of various events is 25,000. Both of those are the same as 2024. And then we have parish publicity, 50,000, which is a decrease of 50,000.
Okay. I have a question there, Ms. Candace. I noticed on publicity in the pretty book, I guess you would call it, we don't have, it doesn't reflect something that we're cutting out or proposing to cut out, and that's the West Homa Gym Enrichment Program. But if you look in the ugly book, yeah, the detailed budget supplement, sort of the backup to it, I see there where we're eliminating that program as a whole, or there's nothing that's proposed to it for 2025. In the black book, it's page 48, or the supplement book. 48, I'm sorry. You see it? It should be the last line item
They're looking at both.
there in the black book, detailed budget supplement.
So yes, sir, that is, this is where we do not have the Rougarou Fest and we do not have the West Homa Gym Enrichment Program proposed to have funded in 2025. When we were trying to make the cuts that we needed in order to present to the council that balanced budget, those were some of the areas that we did not fund for 2025.
Okay. I'll let you go, Parish President.
Yeah, and just want to kind of talk about what we talked about earlier, where we're looking at opportunities between quality of life and community outreach and trying to get community outreach established, trying to see what opportunities we can to kind of reconcile all that through this. You notice in your backup that this account also has the consultant fees for the FEMA maps, of which we're still trying to find $350,000 so we can finish the CLOMER process with FEMA. As of right now, we don't have that funding allocated. And so you could just look at all the things that were cut. As of right now, there's no funding for the FEMA maps on top of it. So if we look to adjust funding, I know that's one place we probably need to put it. But if there's, I mean, you look, the parade, all our parade expenses, which we're also trying to do a different thing there by moving our review stand, making it less labor intensive, and trying to be able to save some money there. But just if you could look in this budget, there's just really not a whole lot unless we cut the co-sponsorships. Where else could we get the funding? But I'm trying to do this again through community outreach and quality of life.
Okay. Now, in looking at it, I understand that it appears we don't have the funding there in that specific account for it to be able to sustain this program, but that program is, I mean, it's considered a publicity account, whereas I'm thinking, if we all look at page 122, and I'm not sure if 122 in the pretty book, and we'll kind of follow along with me. If we look in that book, I'm not sure of the dynamics of allocating versus whatever as far as what a program has to be. But if we scroll down to the third to last one, it says Head Start program. It's local supplement from general fund to provide educational, nutritional, family, and social services to eligible school-age children. To me, it seems like it would fit that a little bit better, because we got it in a program or in a category here, publicity. And if we read the mission state for publicity, we're not even going to read the first line. Let's go down to the second line, and it says the tree board is responsible for preserving, protecting healthy trees. I don't know if that was a cut and paste typo or
So,
something.
no,
I don't
sir,
know.
it's not. If you go back to the ugly book, page 48 that we're talking about, part of this publicity account or department was with the tree board. So we are not supplementing any more in 2025 to the tree board. There's a beautification program that's in here as well. So that one is not a typo. I probably have
Okay.
a lot more typos in here that we're going to find throughout this process, but that's not one of them.
All right.
And to go into the Head Start program, unfortunately, that is a federal grant that we receive, and we have to match it with general fund money, and it can't be used for that program.
Okay, easy enough. I do understand. If I'd like to make a recommendation. I have Miss Collins. She's here this evening. That program just, I don't know if any of you guys had an opportunity to visit that program, but that program, I mean, it's been around for a while now, from what I understand. And I know I hate to put him on the spot like this, Mr. Cohen Gidry, he did some very noble work in finding some folks that actually sponsored and actually gave monies to these programs. And the program itself is helping kids all throughout, the school system here in Terrebonne Parish, by way of kids from Mulberry, Legion, Homer Junior High, St. Francis, Acadian, all these different schools. And like I said, if I could make a recommendation that we at least don't X out this program and put at least $45,000 there so we can sustain it. I think it would be a benefit. It'll be a benefit to us. I don't know if Ms. Collins wants to share anything.
Good evening. Diana Collins, at 1123 Dewey, the EWY Street in Houma. First of all, I want to thank you guys for allowing us to be a part with this program. I also want to thank Corin for helping me so much at time in need. So y'all, let me get this right. So y'all is not going to be doing our program anymore? Y'all cutting it? Oh, we expanding it. What we trying to do?
That's what's being proposed, Miss Diane. But we're working through it. I got some more lights, but go ahead though.
Okay. But this program will help so many kids in the parish. All over the parish. It's so many kids I hate to turn away. This year we have 60 kids. I know that's a lot of kids. And they need this. I mean, I know we've been at it for a while. And I know I've been putting all me in it. And I see we have been here long enough tonight. I see a lot of stuff that I know that we still should be trying to help us in this progress, in this program. So I'm asking you, if there's any way y'all can find some funding for this program. It's going out, as a matter of fact, it's our 7 year that we had it. So I know it's been hard, um, trying to keep this program together. And I promise you it's gonna be well missed. So I'm asking you guys if y'all can help us to keep it. If so.
Thank you, Ms. Diane. I got two lights here and I'll let them, go ahead, Mr. Harding.
Yeah, Miss Diane, you came up, and actually, you know, man, I'm in the pretty book. All right, and on page 122, I will read a couple things you have in here. It says Terrebonne Juvenile Detention Fund, $650,000, a decrease of $150,000. We look at the Parish Prisoner Fund, $3,615,000. That's an increase of $470,000. We look at a decrease in public safety fund of is a decrease. We look at on public safety fund, $2,250,000. That's a decrease of $2 million. We look at something of that nature, and we look at the Head Start program. I know Ms. Candace talked about the federal program. From $400,000 to a decrease of $131,000. We just had the opioid crisis. We just look at what we're doing for the police. But I see that we have an increase of $470,000 for prisoners. But we can't give $35,000, which was last year's budget, for a program that's been in existence, an after-school program that's been in existence for 7 years. But we're going to increase prisoners $470,000? It's, it's, yeah, so I just,
I want to
I
say
say
something.
like my preacher, go home and read it.
I would like to say something else too. And obedience is better than sacrifice. But I do know that, which is good. I'm not knocking nothing, but I'm being real tonight because I wasn't expecting this. God knows I wasn't expecting this. It's a shock to me and trying to wave my tears away. But I do know that this youth department been together. Well, after school program for a while, and I do know y'all just opened up a new one in Montague, which they needed it. I have a problem with that. So don't knock me to do something else. You understand? So if you find funding for that, yeah, I mean, if you can find funding for a new, and I know y'all with Gulf South with Gulf Coast with it, y'all join together. I understand that too. But also y'all put in some funds too. I like the idea that we helping all these kids around in this parish because they need it. Trust me, they need it. That's good to get them off the street. But look, don't knock me down to pick somebody else up. I feel it. I'm hurt because I thought y'all know the feeling and the deal with this youth department. I know the budget it's not been always there. I started out with $10,000, kept it for a year. I built it up on my money, my pocket. Took money out of my pocket and paid the teachers because the teachers are very important. Then we came the next year. Thank God, Candace found some money for us. And we've been running off of that from 25 to 35. Da, 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 da. But, so now it's done. I'm the same person that came up here all the time. And I can see y'all can look me in the eye, but nobody can really look at me. Why? This is not for Diane. This is for the kids in the parish, in the community. And look, you're not just hurting me, you're hurting the kids. Because when I go back tomorrow and tell these parents there's no longer after school program. And that's not gonna be, it's gonna be hard because these kids need it. Grandparents bring them to school, great grandparents dropping them off. And I'm crying because y'all know how kids today need this new education. This new. It's not 1+1 anymore. You got to do something with that 1+4. Show me how you got to this 1+4. They don't have that. It's not that anymore. It's not there anymore. Now I'm asking y'all, I can't make y'all, but I'm asking y'all to please consider this program, because I know the majority, and this is not for no black or no um, kids. This is all kids. Vietnamese, white, Mexican. I got all nationality. So this program is about people, about kids. This is what this about. So if I can finish, if I can't finish the year out with you guys, I just have to do the best I can, because I cannot do this. I cannot do this. Let y'all see, y'all know what's going on in this parish. Y'all know what I'm dealing with. I invite y'all all the time to come and look at the program. Check it out. See the kids. One person came. 3 people came. Mr. Babin, Mr. Brian, and also Carly, and Mr. Guidry. Nobody else. I invite y'all so y'all can see what was going on. Then y'all gonna cut us? That's hard, and it hurts. It really hurts for y'all to do this. And I know all this money coming in, y'all can find something somewhere. It's hard. So I don't have no lights.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks.
Miss, you want to go first, Jace? Okay. Jace, go ahead.
So, and you guys can see the budget. I mean, we can take half the money from the co-sponsorship and give that to the program, but at the same time, we have $245,000 that we have in summer programs. That's through quality of life. And I'm also working on and I'm trying to get a job description finished to get community outreach in place, and trying to work between those two to help us identify these opportunities. Also working within the school board and trying to figure out if we are doing tutoring, maybe I know that there's a mandate that came down from the state to do tutoring. So, we're not saying anything about getting rid of this program. I'm just looking for some different ways to fund it, because the funding we have available is right here in black and white. And so, it is a conversation I had with Brian earlier, and it's something that as we work through this and looking at the different pots of money that, as you can see, many things that have got cut, and we're going to hear probably this story about 15, 20 more times, but I am definitely trying to find a different way to fund these needs. And again, go back to that community outreach program, being able to identify these needs and be able to be more proactive with it. That's definitely something that's very important to us, and that, again, we're going to try to figure out some ways to make this stuff still happen. And that's my commitment to both Diane and the council. I mean, it's something that we need, and I know we need. We're just trying to figure out some different ways to fund it right now, and we had to get a balanced budget turned in. So that's where we are on it.
Ms. Bazron, Ms. Kim?
Okay. So my question would be, since it is an after-school program, where's the school board on this? Like, why aren't they putting up 35,000? Because it is to help kids keep going and to get them, I guess, tutored and to help them. I'm not understanding why the school board is not funding this wholeheartedly. Maybe they could sell a piece of property and fund the whole thing, because they have a lot of property.
So you asking where the school board is?
Yeah.
Because the school board is not in Miningu, it's not in Mechanicsville, and it's not down here. So why are the school board not helping your program? And that's the same kids in Terrebonne Parish. So the school board helped me. They gave us Chromebooks. They gave us all the desks. That's for the kids to sit in?
Correct.
So when you ask them where the school board is, they're there.
But they should be funding the entire project.
Okay, what
is I'm
about your
saying.
program? Are your program being?
I don't have one. I'm in
Mind you,
Chauvin.
y'all just got one in
No,
mind you.
in Chauvin.
Well,
I
whatever
don't-
it is, y'all have one, and that's Terrebonne Parish. See, when we start asking for stuff, all I'm worried about is right here, and they are helping us. They gave us Chromebooks.
I know,
I'm
but
being
what I'm saying is that they should fully be supporting this project. I do think that we could look at, one of the things that I would be is maybe the churches in the area could help. I mean, if this is something that is near and dear to you, and it's important to keep the kids off of the street. I get it. It's important to educate them. I get that too. But I'm looking at different avenues, businesses, parents, churches, the school board. But the other part is that all in all, we're in this crunch because we lack sales tax. Okay. We lack enforcement of sales tax in this parish. I can tell you there are so many businesses that have been people that own businesses that have been talking to me. They are fed up because they're competing against people who don't have the same requirements. Some kind of way, we're shortfalled because we don't have that sales tax. And we have no enforcement. So, what if all the businesses came and said, you know what? I'm pretty sick and tired of paying sales tax myself. Some kind of way, we have to get to a place where we are getting the sales tax so that we can fund these important programs. I'm not telling you that your program is not important. I feel for you. I really do. I think that it is important to fund the program. And maybe, like he said, taking money from the co-sponsorship to do that. And then we still have to find more funds for it. I don't have a problem doing those things, but we're shortfalled, and the problem is that we have a ton of businesses in this parish that are not paying sales tax.
Yeah.
While those who are, are doing the best that they can and collecting that and getting it to
Yeah,
the sales tax office.
I understand what you're saying, but let me tell you something. You really telling me to go to the churches? You telling me to go otherwhere to try to find the funding to help me?
I'm not telling you to go to them. I'm saying that maybe there is a way that we can get some help from
Who, y'all?
everybody.
Okay, look, I appreciate, because I don't want you to try to belittle me or whatever, what you're trying to do. But when you telling me going to get the church to help me, try to get the churches or the people in the community. Tonight I've been sitting up here and I seen a lot of stuff. I ain't never heard you told somebody to get some help for churches. Trying
No,
to help
I'm not
the church.
belittling you, Miss Diane.
Okay, I
I'm
just
really
want you-
not.
Okay, but
I'm
that's
really
fine.
not.
I appreciate what all y'all have done for me since I had this program. And the board, I want to thank y'all. Y'all been so good to me. And I'm not just saying that like I'm giving up, because it is, but I don't want y'all to not look at me, but say stuff like get churches. Girl, please don't go there on me, because I if I don't know this was gonna happen tonight, I would have never came. I did not know, but I know now. But don't try to do that to me. Don't play me like that. Don't take me that away.
Just so you know, I didn't create this budget. I did not create it. I'm
This budget,
trying
this
to.
been here before you even got here, so I know you ain't created it.
So I'm trying to look for ways to help you.
I understand, but it's not.
Okay,
It's
no
not
problem.
what
I'll back
it's what
off.
you're saying. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Mr. Harding?
Miss Candace, I think what was mentioned about the summer camp program. Allocated $230,000. And so we've been actually having that around about that amount probably for the last 4 years, 3 years. Kind of started around 200,000. Okay. How much have we used of that 200,000 in the last 3 or 4 years? Do you really know? I don't have it.
I don't know, but unfortunately, the way that the millage is written for the recreation, which is part of, and I know this is going to sound really strange, because we want to educate students, but we have to recreate the students using the recreation fund. So that's why we've never used the recreation millage for these after-school programs.
Okay.
I also want to point out, I believe that the 3 programs that Ms. Collins is referring to in Montague and Mechanicville is the elderly program, which again is from the elderly millage and obviously can't be used for young
Gulf,
kids.
Gulf Coast. No, what's my point there, because it's at a gym, and what we are doing is trying to look at some monies that we actually have. But I still can pose a question. The money that we have for the summer camps is now under,
It's still using the recreation millage
so if
funding.
it's not used for the summer camps, it goes into the quality of life.
It goes back into the athletics and leisure part of quality of life, yes. sir.
Right, it doesn't go to water life
No,
or
sir.
civic center.
No,
Okay,
sir.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Harding. Mr. Babin?
Yeah, I want to bring something up, Carly. Said you talked earlier about the prisoners in this. I don't think that's apples to apples, but be that as it may, this is the time that we add things. I'd like to add this to see if we can put this in when we change the budget in December. I would like for y'all to look into it, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. And one final thing from me here, I mean, it's, I think, Terrebonne Parish is, if Terrebonne Parish, $45,000 is gonna hurt Terrebonne Parish, we got bigger problems. We really do. I mean, this lady's pouring her heart out. Clearly, she's pouring her heart out. I'm sure Mr. Guidry, he can attest to that, for what she's doing, what she did, what she does for this parish as far as educating our youth. But like Mr. Danny Babin said, and I recommend it, see if we can find the money somehow to make it happen for her. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Candace.
Okay, I believe we are on the economic development, page 114, South Central Planning Commission. We have 42,000 for regional membership. We have 35,000 for the local match for urban system grant administration. This is where our transfer to TITA comes from. And the $593,750 is a decrease of the $31,250 as part of the proposed budget. Parish Agent Farm, which we all know is the LSU Ag, there are no significant changes for 2025. And then emergency preparedness, for 2025, there are no significant changes. Our dedicated emergency fund, we have a minimum cap for 2025 of 126, I'm sorry. The dedicated emergency fund, we're looking at the budget highlights on page 126. There is an ordinance that requires us to have a dedicated emergency fund for purposes of protecting the health, safety, and welfare of parish citizens. We have a minimum cap for 2025 of $3 million. If you actually flip over to the previous page, you know that we exceed the $3 million by a significant amount, but that is additional money that has come through our insurance settlement that we are going to eventually use up for Hurricane Ida repairs as well as Hurricane Francine. So we will still meet that minimum cap of $3 million. We just won't have the extra that it looks like. Fund 255 is our sales tax capital improvement fund. And that is going to be on page. Thank you. On 168. So this is a 1/4-cent capital improvement sales tax that can only be used to fund capital projects and debt services for those capital projects. The 2024 collections are estimated to be about $6.9 million. which is a 2.63% decrease from 2023 and the same as the 2024 projected collections. We have a transfer to capital improvement bond sinking fund for our annual bond requirements of about 3.9 million. And we tried to keep about 60 to 75% of next year's bond debt in the fund balance whenever we're transferring the funding over. We have a transfer to capital projects fund for a total of 2.6 million. This includes some chiller rental and repairs for government towers, municipal auditorium, and the jail, major government building repairs, security at the clerk of court, the first floor government building build out, marina repairs, Valhai Boulevard multi-use sidewalks, Williams Avenue multi-use path, the Civic Center Valhai roundabout. And we have a transfer to the road construction fund of $250,000, and this is in order for us to do a parish-wide road study and assessment to determine the repairs that are needed. For road district number 6, this is going to be on page 169. We have a 0.82 mil ad valorem tax, which generates an estimated $31,954. And we have street repairs proposed at $35,000. The road lighting districts, you'll see on page 171, we have them broken down by district. We have the maximum authorized as well as the amounts that have been levied for all of the road lighting districts. This is what the council had approved a couple of months ago when we did the millage levies. So total revenue coming in for all 10 road lighting districts is about 2.6 million. Moving on to the finance purchasing warehouse department. If you look on page 254, the purchasing division is funded by an allocation charge to all departments that process purchase orders and requisitions. And we also have a 6% adjudicated property sales that is allocated to purchasing. The total allocated revenues projected for 2025 is $865,783. And next page is the development, information technology, and marketing. This is what you are used to it being referred to as the information technology department, which is now under communications. It derives revenues from departments that it services, and for 2025, the projected user fees is right at 2.4 million, and the personnel changes is to eliminate one senior network technician, grade 110. And I believe that is it for tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank Candace. I had asked her last week to, again, as she said earlier in the night, that we're bringing this down to 3 meetings rather than the 4 we'd normally have. So we have a lot more. Tonight was 31. I think the next 2 nights maybe 20 and 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. But by doing this before it got to the agenda, we as council people can concentrate just on the ones that are coming up. And I know it helped me tremendously to have it a week in advance rather than the weekend before this particular meeting. So I appreciate that. And with that being said, make a motion to continue.
Just got a couple more
Okay.
people.
Oh, you have some more, I'm sorry. I
Mr.
didn't know.
Wazan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification, I heard a couple of positions being eliminated. Those are vacant,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just wanted clarification.
Okay. Miss Kim?
Okay, Candace, one of the things you said that if we wanted to add something to it, we had to give you a specific number. Okay, so one of the things that we want to do is because we talked about the council staff and we want to see like the 5% raise for the council staff. So if you can add that to it, but also when you talked about the tutoring part of it, you said that you can move like 15,000 from the co-sponsorships, or is that a possibility? I mean, is that something, do we have any
I'm
funds?
just throwing it out as an idea.
Right,
'cause
right.
That's, I mean, you look at that budget of what's in that area right there, and when you look at all this being in that general fund, I mean, that's the, when Mr. Pledger talked about $45,000. We cut office expenses by 5%, and that cut $50,000. So that's the level of cuts that we have been going through.
Mhm.
Is where can we save 2,000 here, 5,000 there, 10,000, 50,000, and as we continue to even some of the outside departments we talk to, with the fact that we saved $200,000 by moving to our phone system, the new phone system. I'm sorry. But trying to maybe get some of those same departments or some of those outside departments to move to the same platform in turn saves them money in there. And we're having conversations on their office expenses and their phone systems and their IT, and maybe even us being able to provide some services from an IT perspective to some of these other departments that reduce costs for them, that then puts that money back into that general fund. And look, we were having conversations with the sheriff about, we're transferring $1.5 million from general fund for prisoners, right? And trying to work with him and saying, hey, is there any way for us to have to pay less of that? And so we're definitely trying to look at any and every way. And I guess I don't know if I should say this or not, but every time we say, okay, we're gonna add this and add this and add that, we're gonna have to take that away from somewhere else, correct? I mean, there's.
Well,
So I
I'm just
wanna-
thinking like the 15,000 off of co-sponsorships. What you're looking at is, I get that we need to have, like different festivals and there's a need for the co-sponsorships. But I think that the bigger need is to keep our kids educated and off the street so that they're somewhere where it's, there's an accountability process and they're learning and they're having fun. I would rather see that money spent towards helping kids. I mean, she's got 60 kids in her thing, and I know that she was distraught and she didn't realize I was not trying to belittle her in any way. I'm trying to figure out how to get this money to her. So I'm just thinking maybe take the 15,000, and put it to the West Homa Gym in Richmond. And that doesn't it's not in my district, and I get that, but I'm just worried about where the kids will be if she's not there. On that. Do we have anything for these kids, these 60 kids that she's doing something with, and maybe get the school board to put the rest of it in? I don't know. Do we have that kind of thing? But I am saying 15,000 from the co-sponsorship, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of flack for it. But I mean, I can't see not funding the kids in some type of way.
And I'll add too. I mean, I'm even looking for corporate sponsors. Like,
Yes.
when I talk about the community outreach and quality of life, we have the newly formed Quality of Life Foundation. And so, for example, right now, if somebody says, I want to get helmets for a certain football team, if they give us that funding, we can't do it for a certain team. But if somebody donates funds and said, I want to use it for this specific cause, that's going to allow us to do stuff like that. And so when we look at the fact that being able to do some sponsorships around like the Christmas festival and some different things, again, we're just trying to figure out other opportunities to get funding to those places that, right now, unfortunately, we're having to look at some serious cuts in general fund. And I think there's some other ways to accomplish this. And we had to get a balanced budget at this time. So it's something I'm working on every day.
So let me ask you something. Okay, so TITA has a program, right, Cohen? Do you have a program for grants? Like to look up grants, to see what grants they have out there?
We do have software that we partnered with the parish and Explore Homa on being able to find grants.
Is that a possibility to just maybe look and see
Yeah,
if
we
there's
would have to see
anything?
where it would fall under, but
Right.
as far as the money that it was a Chevron gave us some money when we were going to take New Isle, and then when that went away, they didn't want their money back.
Okay.
That's how we got involved through TEDFO with
Okay.
Chevron to contribute some money to help them to grow
Right.
her class and to do the things that she wanted to.
Okay. Listen.
But as far as, yes, finding a grant, we just got to figure out what fits in that program to be able to do it.
Okay. All right. I'm just, listen, I'm pulling from the
Just
sky.
like
I'm
the
trying
one
to
I sent
figure.
you on the robotics
Right.
that you asked me about it. So yeah, it's definitely something we can.
Yeah, so maybe there's some things that she can incorporate into the tutoring that she's doing to be available for the grants that they may have there. I'm just pulling from the sky here, guys. So, all right, thanks.
Thanks, Ms. Chauvin. Mr. Danny Babin?
Yeah, this process is difficult because everybody comes up here and we want to pour our heart out to them. When we make recommendations tonight, like we did to Ms. Candace, to look into this, remember, we have to have a balanced budget. She's going to look into them and she's going to get back to us and say, yes, we can, and this is why we can do it, or no, we cannot, because this is why we cannot do it. It's not that she's not going to look for that money, and this administration is not going to look for that money somewhere to find it, because every one of these things that came up to us tonight are all worthy causes, all right? Just to throw out there, probably 8 years ago, co-sponsorships were done away with, and then it was reinstituted, okay? And that's about, you said 25,000, I think is what it is. Again, that's only taken $600 of in-kind donations away from somebody, rather than a $45,000 budget for here or 50,000 for the coroner. So again, all these recommendations that we are making, this administration is going to take them to heart and try to find the money for it. So thank you. And if there's no other,
Thank you,
Kim,
Mr.
Kevin,
Babin.
excuse
Got
me.
some more lights. Mr. Champon?
Yeah, so for the co-sponsorships, do we typically use that whole amount for the year?
I wouldn't say we use the full 25,000, but I do believe we get close to like 18 to 20. But I can pull the numbers and see. One thing we might have some savings in our co-sponsorships this year is because we had some grants that allows HPD to charge their time to somewhere else. So it may not be an accurate number because we don't know if we'll have those grants next year or not, but I can look at it for you.
So if I get this right, I'm better off having a festival or an event at the beginning of the year.
Yes, sir.
We didn't run out of money, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the case.
Go ahead, Mr. Babin.
When you to take the $25,000 and you divide it by the $600, it comes to 41.6. It just seems like every meeting we have co-sponsorships on it, and it just, and you would think, I mean, we have 26 meetings a year. It seems like we have more than one or two on every meeting. So I don't know how we have any money left over, but in any event, just throwing that out there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Babin. I'd just like to close with, from the chair that, and I have to be 100% honest and truthful about this, but we have to understand that Miss Collins, in her plea to be able to get help from us and our response to her, I need everybody to notice when Judge came up here, Judge said that his program, he laid it out, everybody thought it was great because you're helping the folks that might have opioid addictions or some sort of addiction. But there's a certain undertone to it if another person walks up here and you suggest they go and find the money versus, hey, Judge, well, some people make it happen, So let's just try to be empathetic when it comes to that. It's more of an undertone when, she's here and she feels, and I'm not jabbing at nobody. Don't take it that way. But it's just, I know her passion and I see it. But most of all, I would encourage, after this tonight, each of us go out there and see what that program is really all about. And I'll continue to try and be as subdued as I can going forward and reaching out to each of the council members and calling you guys while we're going through these budget talks, because we have different discussions that we can bring up and we can talk about on the backside of this, like I did this past week to most of you guys, except a couple because of conflicting phone calls or whatever. But let's just try and make sure we get through this as efficiently and effective as possible. Ms. Chauvin?
Okay, just to clarify, and I know you wasn't jabbing, but listen, so the opioid abatement money is coming down. That's a November thing, okay? That's a little easier to deal with because the judge is coming to us and he's saying it's coming and this is what it is. I realize and think that what Miss Diane does is super important. Make no mistake. I think she's distraught because she just found out what's happening. And she took what I said as a hurt towards her, and I really wasn't. Listen, I sitting here, I'm trying to figure out how do we come up with the money that she needs out of a budget that seems to be increasingly becoming a problem to try and fund everything that we have in it. Listen, I'm sitting here trying to think. I wasn't telling her to go get this. I don't mind going help. I don't mind calling people and asking for this. I don't mind taking away from the co-sponsorships to fund her either. I think we have our biggest problem is we have a lack of enforcement for sales tax. We got a problem with that. And it's like every time I say this, I don't even know where you go to get this done. You know, why is there a lack of enforcement to collect the sales tax that belongs so that we can fund these important programs like this to keep 60 kids off the street? That's important because I know that if you don't, and like Carly was saying, that's probably their place of refuge for a lot of them. I get that. I understand it. I really want to help her to find the money. So it's not an underlying thing. I promise. I understood that not nuisance, but the opioid abatement money is something that is coming down. So that makes it totally different from having to scramble to find monies to do this. But I know the importance of it. I get it. And I think everybody's trying to figure out how to help. So I just wanna lay it out there. I in no way was trying to tell Miss Diane that what she's poured her heart and soul into all these kids and all is not important, because it's super important. Thank you.
We're in the last item on the agenda. Can I? Oh, no, you don't. Just, yeah.
Wednesday night, okay, all right. Just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Danny Babin, second by Mr. Kevin Champagne. Members, vote your machines. 8-0.